Again.
No, that's fine.
Again! Welcome to another episode of The Scene Down Under, brought to you by Hardstyle Australia with your favourite...
Get out.
Nah, get out.
Get out. I'm sorry, you said Hardstyle.
You did.
I did. I played it cool, but fuck.
Cuz, leave that in. Let's keep
No,
rolling.
please, we can't do this again, bro. Alright, go. Slap.
Episode is sponsored by Outpool Strength Systems. Outpool Strength Systems is responsible for helping hundreds of people get strong, understand how to move properly and why they should be moving that way.
Outpool also understands the power of music when it comes to training. They aim to pioneer and bring together a larger community of people, not only sharing the experience of raving, but lifting properly as well. If you're interested in learning how to move in the gym a little bit better, compete in powerlifting or wear the latest rave-inspired merchandise, head to outpoolstrengthsystem.com and inquire with one of their coaches today. Let's go.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Scene Down Under, brought to you by Hardstyle Australia, hosted by your favourites,
TOZA?
this guy over here
Oh,
and
what
this
is
guy
it?
over here, TOZA and
VUKZ.
VUKZ.
How are you, Toza?
I'm good, thank you. How about you?
Oh, I've been locked in this warehouse for the past 3 days. Been
Honestly,
wonderful.
it feels like it. It looks like I didn't even get out of these
Yeah,
pants. yet.
Toza's been sleeping in the warehouse for the past couple of days.
It's good, but I'm really happy with how our new space have turned out.
Yeah.
Shout out to the boys. Won't disclose too much information yet, but keep an eye out for what's going to happen here in the future.
Nice
But
nice
yeah,
little
tell us
HQ.
what's happening with you, man.
Yeah, nothing working here.
Nothing working here. Everything's working here.
Yeah, I'm saying nothing working here, working everywhere. Just trying to get our HQ underway. We've got a lot of big stuff planned, big projects, a lot of things going in the works.
That's right.
But yeah, we've been pumping out the episodes. We've been smashing them out lately. So we're not going to do too much of a recap as well because I just feel like Reddit's covering a lot of the stuff we talk about anyways.
You know.
But yeah, I know you love doing this, and it's a very special guest as
Oh
always.
yeah, damn. Another special guest, but this time it's a special guest that has graced our podcast before and is back for some more. So this guest here has been a full-time priest lately.
Yeah, lately. Yeah.
Where everyone's confessing their dirty sins to him.
Yeah.
And he has come here to Australia for a tour that is called Rave is My Religion.
Yeah.
Or our religion.
Yeah.
Or your religion.
It's everyone's religion.
Just everyone's religion.
Everyone's
Rave
religion.
is
Yep.
religion.
Rave is religion.
Exactly
Thank you.
right. So now I want to introduce the very special guest who is Audiofreq, the hardcore priest.
Thank you so very much for having me here again, Hardstyle Australia. Woo.
Welcome back,
Welcome
man.
back, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Very good. Very good. How's
Feeling-
dinner? Did you like dinner?
It was heavy. It was very meaty.
Yeah.
We had some asada. I don't know exactly where the...
Asada is a nickname for my...
Your butthole.
Yeah.
It was tasty.
You're staring at like, what the hell
I was
is
like,
going
what?
on?
What did I miss? Because obviously I wasn't at dinner because I had work.
Well,
so.
you missed out, my friend.
I know.
You
Well, I
missed
mean,
out.
Crazy.
I mean, nothing beats eating whatever that is.
Asada. No, we had some nice food.
It was
Went out
great.
to the area.
Yeah.
Took him to the area.
Nice.
Picked him up from the sticks. Drove him back to our
Yeah.
The sticks.
HQ. It is the sticks to us.
It
it's
is,
the
it
sticks.
For sure. I get it. I get
Yeah.
it.
My reception dies as soon as I
Like I
cross
said, so our producer actually lives in the sticks, and that one time I drove to his house, it was a bit windy.
Yeah.
And all I was driving over is literally sticks, and I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck. VUKZ is actually right. This is the fucking sticks, and
Yeah.
now I know why they call it the sticks because literally all I drove over was sticks.
You don't have trees out here, man?
Nah,
We do, but they're not.
we use them for the
sticky.
barbecues.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
fair
We use it
enough,
for
yeah.
all the barbecues
Makes
we have.
sense. Exactly. Makes sense.
Oh, you're back in Sydney.
I am indeed, yes.
You love it here, don't you?
I mean, you could say, I don't know, this might be saying a lot. You could say it's like home, but let's not get ahead of ourselves.
It's not too bad.
No, it's just, no, I love it, of course. It's definitely one of my favorite cities to play. If not the favorite city of mine to play. Of course, there's that home connection, but obviously the Aussie crowd is like nothing else. So it's always good to be back here and to be able to do a tour for a whole month, I think is really cool. That's
100%,
quite
man.
blessed.
So obviously we mentioned at the beginning that you are here for Rave is Our Religion. So can you please tell us more about what this new concept is
Sure.
and your tour and what we can expect from it?
Totally. Well, the first time that I was on the podcast, I hinted as to something that was going to happen in the future. Now we can kind of reflect at what's been happening. What I was hinting at the time was that I was going to release on Masters of Hardcore, and the debut track of mine on Masters of Hardcore was Rave is Religion, which is a kind of new direction for me to... I mean, I've always loved hardcore, but to commit myself into that direction instead of like spreading myself kind of all over the place, that's kind of like what I want to do. So primarily on this tour, I'm playing a lot faster, a lot harder, which I already, was dabbling in that kind of thing. But I think especially this Friday, we'll be playing at Massive. I don't know when this goes out on air, but, the Friday performance is pretty much going to be all hardcore, hardcore and up-tempo because of the Rave is Religion tour. And yeah, all the releases that are going to come on Masters of Hardcore. What happened to the light? It died.
Oh, that's one producer.
It's right. It's like my soul.
all right.
It died like my soul.
We'll get on that.
All the releases, I think from now are going to be like hardcore releases as well. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so this tour is kind of like a definitive statement of like this is what is happening moving forward. And that's kind of what the Rave is Religion tour is about. Some places can handle a little bit more, some places can handle a little bit less, and there's something that I kind of have to figure out on the night, but primarily it is a bit of a statement tour of like, yo, this is what we're about. We're about faster beats, we're about harder beats, we're about like bringing the rave back. And for a lot of people, hardcore is their religion, so let's embrace that, let's make it a thing.
Yeah, so I want to touch on two things.
Sure.
We'll go on just what you finished with there. Hardcore is religion for some people.
Yeah.
Dude, I feel like how like when genres used to be hardcore and hardstyle, that like still sort of two separate things.
Yeah.
And I feel like the hardcore has always just been massive. Like you look at all those like festivals like Thunderdome and all that stuff.
Definitely.
I feel like people listen to hardcore and they're like, what the hell is hardstyle sometimes?
To a certain degree, to a certain degree, there is a little bit of that atmosphere. I mean, when I first moved to the Netherlands, I was dating a Dutch girl, and her first experience to hardstyle was like, what is this pussy stuff? Like, what's going on? Not even kidding, right? Because you like at the time, hardcore was really floating around, 180, 185, 190 BPM. Obviously, the sky's the limit with hardcore, but that's what she was used to. So then, when she first heard hardstyle and it was kind of like the reverse space stuff sitting around 145, 150 BPM, she's like, what? And a lot of people from her generation who grew up with hardcore were like, what is this?
I mean, she's not wrong. It's still the 145 reverse space and 150. It still feels like pussy shit.
Oh, I mean, look, it has
Let's be honest.
different function in a different way. It's not my go-to, right?
100%.
If you've got a bunch of sauces, is like your barbecue sauce, tomato sauce, whatever it is, that's not...
You want the chimichurri.
Yeah, give me the chimichurri. Give me the Tabasco, man. Give me the spice.
Oh, let's give him some hot sauce.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got the bomb. Just be careful.
Oh,
man.
shit. Yeah.
But to be fair, like the music from where like the era you're talking about till now, it's actually like evolved in a way where like it's either hard or like you hardly have even the softer guys are making harder stuff.
Totally.
Like, which is crazy. Like the benchmark now for hardstyle music is like, okay, it's gonna make me feel something. Mm-hmm. And if it doesn't, then it's not going to work.
Yeah,
whether it's a kick, it's a melody.
I think it's also like a generational thing too.
100%.
Yeah, so people were having that same reaction, 10 years ago when they heard Donkey Rollers for the first time, right? Like that, oh my goodness, I'm feeling something crazy. It's very dark, it's very heavy compared to what else was floating around there at the time. Looking at it in a vacuum as opposed to comparing it to hardcore.
Did you get a lot of ooh-ahs back then? Like when you were...
No, the culture was very different. It was more groove focused, and I think... not only was it groove focused, but also the crowd participation was very different. People more satisfied to sort of just be amongst themselves rather than...
an amplified feeling.
Yeah, exactly. So now the way I think about crowds is very like... not only drop focused, but very hype focused, right? And I'm not using hype in terms of like what's hot and what's not. More of like hype
what makes
moments.
them hyped up. Yeah, no, 100%.
Exactly.
I agree with that, man. Like a lot of the music that's coming out now, it's literally got like either that one element that's gonna like anticipate you to what the track is meant to be.
Sure.
Or give you that feeling that like, oh shit, what is this? This is interesting. And
Yeah, totally.
like we spoke about this in private and like many times before about like having that one bit of like a ambience or like an element that's gonna make you remember the track, whether it's a pre-drop vocal or like a screech or like let's use activation by Aversion for an example.
Sure.
Like no one really like if it didn't have that like catchy element like that, like that made everyone like go nuts to the point where like even let's say Unresolved back like his track Sacrifice. Remember that kick roll that they had? Like,
To be honest, I'm not super familiar with his music.
yeah, so
No,
fair
I'm serious. Yeah.
but there's always that one element that makes the crowd like remember that track from it,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh shit, this is what hype you're talking about, really. Like,
Yeah,
that I
to a
just
certain
kinda,
degree,
like,
but
cover
also, yes and no, because what you're describing is like an element in a song that that hypes them up. What I'm talking about is the general way that people respond to music.
Yeah.
So back then, like if you think Donkey Roller's era, of course the songs are massive, but it wasn't that same level of like just you play it and then it gets to the drop and there's just like an explosion of energy. The culture is different then
it
compared
was just
to
like
now.
vibey.
Yeah,
like, people
exactly,
are just like
exactly
they,
right.
they know what to expect kind
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah,
It's not
yeah,
like
yeah.
a surprise element. It's more like a feel good element.
But do you know
Yeah.
do you know what's really funny also, like when you think about like how music's changed and stuff, how much like obviously producing has come out like to be, but you've got more tutorials. So you see a lot more producers and stuff now. But it's crazy that we forget about songs so quickly that are made now.
Yeah.
Like I'll listen back to songs that I listened to in 2020, even 19, and I'm like, oh, I forgot about this song.
Yep.
But you think back to those tracks like your Melancholias, your like From Wasted Penguins, your
Yeah.
like Donkey Rollers, your Zaza Front, stuff like that. You're like, damn, this song, like it gives you back that. I feel like the new style of music is good in the moment, but the stuff they were making back then was like really like it stands the test of time.
I don't know, and I'll tell you why I don't know, because I feel like this is sort of turning into a bit of a like the dad rock situation where music was better back then, it had more staying power, all that sort of situation. But at the same time, do we remember the B-sides of those records? Not really, and they came out on records.
Yeah.
So
What are records for us young people?
Yeah, right.
I've got vitals.
So let's use Headhunters, Noise Controllers, and Tonight as an example, right? Big song, influential, got to a whole bunch of like influential lists or whatever it is. Who remembers the B-side, which was that the vocal from?
Her voice?
No, it wasn't. I remember Dougal and Gamma used that vocal as well. So it was like a chick vocal. What I'm trying to get at is this. Right now, we have the perspective that music doesn't have the same staying power and that things go very, very quickly and that things get ignored. But we're only remembering the highlights of yesteryear. We're not remembering everything from yesteryear. So we've got a bit of a bias.
Yeah.
Of course, there is more music being made now than ever before.
Yeah.
Definitely. And because of that huge flood of music, it's easier to forget. But it's not to say that everything was better back then either, because there's so much got forgotten as well.
I'm not saying it's better. Like, I'm not comparing like the stuff, because you got to keep it relative as well to the producing powers.
Yeah.
Because like everyone goes, what's so good about the music now? And I think a general answer, surprisingly, across Reddit is the product quality of tracks and stuff.
Totally.
But I get what you mean in the sense
just
that
in terms of quantity, right?
Yeah.
Because of quantity, it's easy to forget things
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like you said, 2019. What I don't remember. That one from that thing or whatever.
I think like to me like the era that you're talking about, it's like it's because we grew into that era till now. We remember it, but the guys that just came into the scene, they just know what's happening now.
Yeah,
they haven't done their homework and be like, hey, there's actually way more than what we're listening to now. And then I'll really suggest to everyone that's like watching and listening to this that you should really indulge in doing some research about like 2012 era, a bit more 2006 era, like more of the old school stuff, just to understand a bit of like what was happening back then and how the music changed, because that will give you an idea of like more of appreciation of music, I guess.
Sure, of course.
I think the tracks back then have more longevity in terms of like a long effect on people, but maybe because we've listened to it for that long.
I think it's that.
But now it's like it's got a short-term effect because the tracks just came out, but maybe in 5 years we're gonna be like, oh shit, that track has long effect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard to judge.
So that's why like a lot of people just live in that moment. They're not thinking about okay, what's gonna happen in the future for this track that's just released now.
Yeah, but do you need to?
Not really, man.
I feel like we're in the new style of You know, like how New Style came up with you guys and stuff. I feel like we're in the new style again.
Yeah.
Like I feel like what our generation is going through that, which is like, it's sort of cool to be going through it and sort of realizing it. Because like when we were speaking to Ellie a while back,
Yeah.
I was like, did you guys know what you guys were doing in that time, creating all these new sounds? He goes, no, like we had no idea.
Yeah.
But I feel like you can sort of, now that we have something to base it off, I feel like we can compare the two, not exactly verbatim, but
No,
like,
yeah, of course.
we're like, oh damn, like it's such new stuff that we're figuring out. It's sort of like the new style because you've got people clashing about how music was in the 10s
Yep.
rather than the 1000s.
Yeah.
Like it's
As they say, history repeats.
yeah.
And honestly, I believe like it's not that deep. Because like
Bro, it's not that deep.
it's honestly like at the end of the day, the people that come out and say, "Oh, music's better back then," blah blah blah. I mean, like you don't really have to tell us that. Just keep it to yourself. Enjoy the music that you enjoy already, or move on to the new stuff.
Totally.
Like it's not really a big deal.
Yeah, no, I agree
But
with you.
people
But
always have something to say, you know.
yeah, but it's more than just that as well. It's sort of like what used to be familiar and what made me feel good is now changing and I feel uncertain. And that's tough to deal with. You know, when you abstract it and put it like that, just as human beings, that's tough to deal with. When we're going through change, and that's effectively what it is. When we're going through change, some people can embrace it and some people are destabilized by it and they don't have that same sort of level of security. They lose a sense of identity to it. And I can absolutely empathize with that, but that's part of our core experience as a human being, right? When there's change, things are uncertain. Some people handle it well, some people
100%.
don't.
I agree to that because I was actually reading an article about change the other day, and realistically, it's like it's always about what's in it for me. You know what I mean? Like when you present a change to people, it's always like, oh, what's in it for me? Because they're always in their comfort zone, and if you take them through this change, like there's always something for them in it. If they're not that open-minded, but you can always see, okay, this could be positive to me because this, or some people always stick to their comfort zone and be like, nah, there's nothing in it for me. I'm comfortable where I am. And that I can relate that to music too, because if you're open-minded with music, you'll be more receptive to new stuff. You'll still appreciate the old stuff, but you'll open your mind to a variety of music that, one, you've never heard before. Two, you're gonna have a big wide range of taste for music. And I think that's what I recommend everyone doing, to be honest, with music, because music is very subjective in my opinion. And like we have Spotify now, man. Everything is like, if you feel like listening to heavy metal today, you can literally listen to heavy metal today. If you want to like listen to old school hardstyle, we can literally find playlists that you can listen to this music in.
Sure. Yeah, like tools like Spotify have effectively democratized music, right? So we can have everything available to us all at once.
Heaps.
So by that measurement, being closed-minded is a very conscious choice. But it's also difficult to embrace things that maybe you're not ready for. And everybody's in a different place. Yeah. So when change happens, like I said, some people are easygoing than others. Some people maybe just find it difficult. Maybe they want to be, but they just struggle. I can't get my groove here. So when people complain online, it's sort of like, all right, it is what it is. This is just part of the human experience.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Moving on, it was part of my second part. I like that we carried on a bit about the first part. The second part, what's this?
Oh, sorry. There's no pop filters. Nah.
Yeah. It's all right. Just fucking work. Fix it up. Going back to the second part, what I had to say, you've now joined sort of like the Matrix clog machine. And it was just a joke about the whole Reddit
I
thing.
got it.
It's nothing against you.
I
It's
just didn't want to laugh.
It's just a little stab. We have a private joke.
Okay.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
We'll mention it. I was taking the piss out of the Endonis guy.
Oh, right, yeah.
And he told Andrex, he's like, you're part of the Matrix label clog.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like that whole alpha male sigma thingy. Yeah.
Good chat.
Oh, right, okay. The Andrew Tate kind of talk.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Good chat.
Anyways, Audiofreq.
Yes.
How's that going? Because you touted at it last time. You were still working on a lot of things.
Sure, yeah.
And now...
I had an interesting conversation yesterday, and it was kind of like a coincidental kind of thing. I've been wanting to turn Audiofreq into something like proper, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't really have the time or the tools to be able to do it, let alone the music to be able to do it. And then had an interesting conversation with Ryan from Dirty Work. So for those that aren't aware, I have a small label imprint that I release music on called Audiofreq, and that is done in partnership with Dirty Works. Basically, they do the back end, they do all the annoying stuff I don't want to do, and I get to do all the creative stuff like this song I want out at this time, and here's the cover, and here's the visualizer, upload it on your stuff, and let's get it out on this date, and that sort of thing. So it's a really cool partnership, and I'm very blessed to be able to have that. We had a conversation about it because it's kind of been a little bit dormant for a while, mainly as I've been sort of busy with other stuff, going through life stuff, doing the hardcore stuff with Master Hardcore. And the conversation was pretty much, we're having a conversation with Krypton, so Dirty Works and Krypton, we're having a conversation, but we don't think that his stuff suits Dirty Works in the sense that Dirty Works we want to keep as a hardcore label. How do you feel about the idea of releasing Krypton's music on Audiofreq? And I was like, great, because I've been thinking about this anyway. I've been thinking about, with that such a name, to transform that into a high-speed hardcore outlet. And I don't want to put an up-tempo label on it, don't want to put a Frenchcore label on it. I just want to say high-speed hardcore, so it's fast, hard beats, whatever flavor it is,
sick, yeah.
you know? And it suits the name, Audiofreq, fast music. Yeah, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
So we're in the process of talking about that and working out the particulars of that, which I think would be really cool. Because for the most part, Audiofreq was like an imprint just for me to be able to do what I want. I hadn't really taken on any other artist on board. And, pardon me, I think it'd be really, really cool to get Krypton on board. He'd be like the first one.
He's awesome.
Yeah, I love him. He's such a sweet guy, incredibly talented producer, and I want the world for him. And so to be able to work together with him to get his music out there on a much larger platform via Audiofreq and by extension Dirty Works would be really, really awesome. I also have some other remixes of some older stuff of mine that I want to release on there as well. There's a remix of Hardcore Maniac that some guy called, I think his name is Diskid. I have to check because I'm not entirely too sure on the pronunciation. It could be I don't know. Yeah, you know, I've totally butchered his name, but it's an incredible remix.
Is it this kid?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think I've seen that name.
Yeah, his remix, brutal as shit. Love it. And it's been getting a lot of attention.
Are we going to get a snippet after this?
Sure, why not?
Sorry, this is, my bad.
No, it's all good. Is it mum?
No, just family.
Oh, no, it's okay. Yeah,
It's all right.
It's important.
Yeah, so
Can you just, sorry.
No.
Just check your phones, boys. Yeah.
first of all, shout out to Krypton, good friend of mine. We've met at Knockout last year.
Yeah.
Looking forward to see him again. So if you're around, obviously at Knockout, please check out his set. Really, really cool stuff. And he's very supportive of us too, and really appreciate his energy. And
Love him.
Yeah, very nice guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool to see like you're tapping into the guys that are just coming up now. It's not just like, oh, you got to be established or whatever, because...
Well, it's not about that for me. It's ultimately,
It's
it's
good,
like, are we on the same wavelength?
Yeah.
And do you have cool music? And can we work together?
Yeah.
100%. It's all about the vibes, man. At the end of the day, like same reason why we started Evolve.
I was gonna say,
It's
so
because
similar.
like it's not because someone has more followers or someone can this. No, it's just basically like us vibing with the team that we have at the moment. And I think we have a very, very good team. Actually, I know we have a very good team to the point where like we're all on the same wavelength. We all know exactly what we need to do, and I'm looking forward for the future with these boys and girls that we have on the label that are just coming together to make something out of nothing, really.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, that's what I was going to say. I see a big similarity in like what you're doing is you actually have this passion for music still to this day. Like, how long have you been involved for music? 15 plus years now?
Yeah, more than 15 years.
Yeah, so like it's cool to see you still have this passion and want to branch out and help others as well. Like you said, Dirty Works didn't say like too much to invest singularly in him, but to allow that project to grow together.
Yeah.
And you see with a lot of I reckon Dirty Works are killing it in that sense. Like
Absolutely.
they're with even
Copyright free. They got Copyright Free, which is like a sub label for like sort of like euphoric stuff. Like we have one of the Aussies, Stephen Game, released there.
Yep, I saw.
He had a collab with Overdrive, I think called something about war something.
don't fuck it up. I was going to say.
Yeah, no. It's maybe war. I don't know. It's
Leave it there.
war something. Yeah, I'll leave it there. But it's good to see like not just them looking like having a sub label, but also looking at Aussies. And
Is Acid Rain on Dirty Works as well?
Yeah, it's a kind of partnership.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Acid Rain is
that's
part
how I say it as well. Similar, like where they give give these artists with such big profiles like that little bit of freedom to be like, hey, express yourself. We'll give you like a bit of help, because it can get daunting, man. Like
Totally.
I know, like for us, we're nothing major, but man, just like the little work we're doing here,
It's crazy because like
daunting.
obviously we're handling everything ourselves. Like we don't have like a mother label that's looking after us. We're just doing everything back end, everything. Like it's a lot of work, man.
We
Like
have to make him look good as well. Do you know how hard that is?
it's pretty hard. I can give you that. But yeah, like I said, it's very hard work, man. So I understand what you were talking about before, like all the shit that you hate.
Yeah.
Because we're going through it at the moment, and it's not easy. It's not an easy job, man.
Think of it this way, and one of the reasons why I was a little bit hesitant to take anyone else on board and why Audiofreq was just kind of my own imprint for a while. I had plenty of offers come from plenty of other different people, but at the time I was like, you are a talented artist and you need more attention than what I'm capable of giving you at the moment.
Exactly
And it's
right.
no disrespect to you. If anything, it's because I respect you that I can't do anything with you, and I wish you the best of luck in the future, because unfortunately, I feel like I'm already spread a little bit too thin. And if I were to try and construct a label in the traditional sense, it would be a disservice to you and what you're capable of. And you deserve so much more than what I can do. But now with this particular situation with Krypton, the stars have kind of aligned in a really, really cool way. And I hope he's not the last.
Just get Hyperverb on there. I reckon Hyperverb would be really cool with you guys.
Okay.
Check him out.
What there's some other guys that are, but I'm not going to say anything because,
We'll talk.
it's one of those things, maybe if I say something, it's taken the wrong way or whatever.
If I talk, I am in big trouble.
No, I've just been, there's a lot of guys I've been finding lately. Hyperverb is one of them. I'm just jamming so much because he has that like euphoric like French core style. It's just rough. Same as Krypton as well. Like, I think I caught a bit of his set at Knockout last year and I was like,
yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
A lot of energy.
Awesome. Keen to hear more from him as well.
Yeah. So, for this opportunity to come my way and then at the same time me thinking about like, this is where I want to take the direction of the label is a great stars aligning moment.
Yeah, I was delirious space.
It's like, great. Let's work it out.
That's the best situations, man. Like you gotta cling on the situations and make the best out of it because like you can have a direction already, but if something falls into your path and you're like, oh, okay, come here, like we'll do it together,
It's like a black hole, just
yeah, pretty much.
but a good black hole.
Good black hole. Yeah, not a destructive black hole.
Moving on, you've just come back from you've come back from overseas.
Yeah,
'cause this is your home.
That's right.
DEFCON, how was it, man?
Oh man, it was incredible.
Yeah,
it was really, really cool. I mean, I know a lot of people talk about it online and they sort of like have their crying moments when they're watching the end show and like, I'm ready to get hurt again and watch the repeat of the end show and all that sort of stuff. Like I was saying in the car on the way here, I've worked with Q-Dance for a long time. And I feel very blessed to be able to work with Q-Dance for a long time. And I've seen kind of how the festival comes together, not from start to finish. I just get glimpses of the process here and there. Exactly. I get to see sometimes like walk into an office and like, oh, that's the design for this year for this stage. And oh, this is maybe how the voiceovers is going to go for this stage. Or we're thinking about this for a theme or whatever. Despite that, despite having inside knowledge and knowing how the magic trick is performed, it still blows me away. And this year was absolutely no exception. I can say, hand on my heart, that this year was the best edition yet. Be that from the way that they were treating the artists with the Artist Village, be that from the detail that they had on the stages, be that with the little specials that they had, like on your Sunday Fun Day and all that sort of stuff. The way that everything came together was magical. And I don't say that lightly because I don't want to seem like a sycophant.
You're getting paid too much, but
no, I'm not getting paid enough.
Brown paper bags.
But to be perfectly honest with you, it was such an incredible event. The whole thing was just magnificent, and I don't feel like I'm describing it enough to give it justice.
No, but yeah, like we even on the Reddit, we're following along, we're watching the live streams and stuff. But like every time like we popped up onto Reddit, there was something new. Like the secret parties going on.
The toilet stage.
The toilet. Gezelik did the potty party.
We're going to practice this right now. Gezellig. Yeah, gezellig up tempo. Gezellig up tempo. So so gezellig means like kind of cute, cozy. Right now, the setting that we're in is gezellig, because it's kind of like warm and all that sort of thing. And if you listen to their music, it's up tempo, but it's sort of like it's nice.
Yeah,
up tempo.
it's a funky. It's bouncy.
It's a fun. And they're such sweet guys, and so the whole concept of like
who is it?
I don't know. No, they're hiding behind. They're poopy masters. That's what's going on. Yeah.
Okay.
So The shit show, because it was literally called the shit show at the
Portaloos,
at the Portaloos by the black stage.
Because
Incredible.
the thing is, like, now obviously we didn't really like research the name properly to know what it means, but now that you mention the name and what it actually means,
Yeah.
the mask is such a throw off.
But it's the poop emoji, so it is kind of cute. I get it. Like,
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean?
It is
Like,
kinda cute.
It's not like actual shit. Like it's
No.
like the emoji shit.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. It's like,
yeah.
it is kind of shit, but it's also it's nice.
Because
and
like
it's
when I
vibey.
send that, like if I actually like send a photo of my shit, people would be like, "What the hell?" But if I send an emoji like I'm pooping, that one,
Yeah.
people
Please
be like,
don't
"That's
ever do
totally
that.
fine."
Do not ever do that.
That's cute.
Like,
You're lucky I don't send you photos. Man.
what a shitty analogy, bro.
I see what you did
Hey,
there.
that's the first funny joke you've said.
That's crazy, man. Anyway, so yeah, speaking of defqon, let's
Yeah.
probably go through like your experience day by day. So like
Sure.
obviously with let's start from Wednesday, because Wednesday
I wasn't there
obviously-
on Wednesday.
You weren't?
I was frantically working in the studio trying to make sure that Friday was going to be a good day.
So can
Yeah.
you at least like tell us more about the artist village that they had and what the concept behind it? What was the reasoning?
You said
that's
you
the,
loved it.
Yeah,
'cause that's
yeah.
the first time they've had something like that, right?
No, it's not. They've had one beforehand, but I'm not going to name names. There was an artist that decided that they were going to party all weekend and kind of ruined it for everybody. So I don't remember what year it
It was
was.
Tone Shifters, wasn't it?
No, what a man can.
Those Aussie guys. He was probably doing too many shoeies.
Oh,
that's why.
that's it, man. The guy was absolutely loose. He came out with the baba ganoush and was like, everyone's like, "What the fuck,
Hey,
man?
taste
We're in
my baba
Holland."
ganoush.
Yeah. Have the hummus. No. It's my mother's recipe. No, So yeah, they kind of cooled it for a while. They cooled it. They didn't want to have the artist village because they're like, artists or if we have artists partying again, it makes us look bad because it's not on site at the festival. It's where the festival terrain is like a big sort of open area of, park terrain kind of thing, and next to it is a theme park, the Wallaby World.
Yeah.
Wallaby World has some like little family cabins and all that sort of stuff. Wallaby World.
Yeah, I swear if I saw you were gonna say like Hilly, like just because of the Dutch accent, like Gezelig.
Gezelig.
Bro, can we put a ban on you saying any Dutch word because you always butcher the shit?
That's
I'm
okay.
usually good.
We're having teaching moments.
I'm
It's
usually
fine.
good.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, go on.
You're all
Yeah.
good. So because it's a separate terrain, if somebody mucks up, then it's like kind of like on Q dance, right? Because it's their guests kind of thing. So, like I said, there was an artist that didn't behave as well as they could have, and pardon me, then they cooled it for a while. Then I've noticed over the past few years that Q dance has had a change in culture in a good way. When I first started doing radio stuff with them, when I first started, even just performing with them, I don't want to say it was bad, but it was very clinical. Business. Only business. And this time it's been warming up more and more and more. And they opened up the Artist Village this year, and it was really nice. They packed it full of goodies. There was more drink than you can shake a stick at, which kind of sucked for me because I've actually quit drinking.
What?
Yeah, I know. We can go into that a little bit later. Yeah, it's not so great a story.
Yeah.
But they packed it and tried to make sure everybody felt comfortable, felt loved, felt appreciated and everything, which was really, really cool. I wasn't there at the artist dinner on Wednesday, but they also had some other, gifts of appreciation. They really rolled out the red carpet and treated all the artists with some magnificent meals. So on Thursday I arrived, checked in to the artist village, saw everything was nice and everything was, really, really cool. Fridge was stocked and cool. Went to the festival terrain and I was there before the gates opened. I have to be, of course. And just kind of like did a little bit of a tour, and it's always very surreal to see the festival terrain when there's nobody there. But it's clean, not the aftermath, the before the storm kind of situation. And seeing the last minute preps, you got like giant forklifts putting things in place and moving things. People are testing, lasers and light shows and all that sort of stuff. And just like hearing the murmur of people at the campsite as they slowly gets more and more busy. There's definitely some crazy up tempo guys that are like, well, it's 2 a.m. on a Thursday or 2 p.m. on a Thursday, but we're already here ready to party for everything. But yeah, sort of wandered around, met with all the people that I needed to for the recording, the stuff that we needed to do, and it was cool, man. Like just checking it out and seeing how things have grown. and literally grown, right? So the stage this year, the red stage, 45 meters high, biggest one that they've done.
I think they're trying to break, like every year they're trying to break it. Last year was the longest.
Yeah, it was pretty wide, yeah.
Yeah, this year it's the tallest.
It's the tallest,
been.
yeah. They also tried different things as well. Like they had cabanas on the sides of the stages.
Oh, you're going to say kebab, bro.
Yeah, kebabs.
They did as well.
Kebabs.
They did literally have kebabs, but on the red stage there was like these cabanas that you could hire per day to get like a really, really cool view. Which is kind of cool. I prefer those side things rather than being at the back where there's like the VIP and relation deck, whatever. Yeah, being on the side on these cabanas, I don't know the official defqon terminology. You get this cool like horizontal view of the whole thing. So you on one side you've got the stage, and then you see the sea of people, and then you see the other side as well, and you get to see like the fireworks in a whole.
I guess
new
from those
perspective.
cabanas, you got the best view from the right hand side. When did you see the video of the two people? The two people. There was a video that someone recorded.
People are having
they
fun
get
on
to
stage.
the right, and it's two people having fun on stage.
Right? No, I didn't see that.
haven't?
No.
Oh
I
my
wasn't
god!
that.
We're gonna show you.
We're
It's
gonna
on-
find it and
Great,
show you
great.
that.
It's on that site X and
XX. Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah.
Also, it's called
I'm a premium member there, so it's great.
No, honestly, and then even I think it was Villain and someone else. They looked at it and they pointed it out, and they walked to the back to see what was going on. But yeah, it was
Great.
Once we show you the video, you know
you'll
what we're
laugh.
talking about.
Hectic. All right, fantastic. But yeah, so Thursday was kind of like orientation, kind of checking out everything and checking out all the stages, and then they placed me at the entrance of the camping to enter the main festival, and we had like a little countdown moment and tried to film the chaos as the gates opened and before the music started, which is really awesome. I think my favorite moment of defqon is really the start.
when everyone rushes the gates.
When everyone rushes in, and then also when the first beat drops. Like when the trailer voice comes out and says, "Weekend Warriors, welcome home." I'm not a person
Gives
that
you
gets
shivers,
chills.
right? Yeah.
I don't get chills to music. I don't. I'm not one of those people. There's like a small subset of the population that doesn't get that response. Most people get it. I don't. But when that happens, oh my God.
Hearing any Q dance voice, like even that kind of stuff G's me up the most.
Big time, big time.
I
So
love that.
I call that the champagne cork popping off moment, where that first beat drops and everyone's like, "Wow!" and this huge roar of the crowd. It's absolutely fantastic. So to be there at the blue stage when that happened, bruh. it was
bruh moment,
it was so intense, man. It was so cool, and like I said, I've been to many defqons. This time around, I don't know exactly what it was. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it felt magical.
I've seen a video of you. Sorry, going back to you being to so many. I've seen a video of you. I think it was you and Corey when you were like full bowl, like just by.
Oh, yeah.
I think B-From was interviewing
That's
you
right.
guys.
He was So we were the first Australians going over there. I think it was still at Amir Strand. It would have been the 2010 defqon. Which the theme was like no time to waste. And then we were kind of like hiding in the bushes because Australians.
Yeah, B-From came up and it was
Australians
just
from the
him
bush, like.
yeah, it was. That's what he said exactly. Yeah.
So
fuck it.
Two wild
that's
kangaroos.
Exactly. That was a hell of a throwback. But with that in mind, the Thursday for defqon, of course, very, very magical. And then Friday was, the first main day of the festival. I had to do my hardcore confessions. And I believe we've got some confessions to dive into as
Stay
well.
tuned for later.
Yeah, so we'll get into those a little bit later. And that was really cool. I didn't expect it to go so well. I was really surprised because it's the hardcore crowd, as you've probably experienced, can be critical and very specific in what they want. And defqon isn't specifically a hardcore festival. Of course, there's a huge hardcore presence there.
Yeah.
It's massive. Like the hardcore stage there fits 19,000 people. It's no small thing going on there. And then that's separate to the up-tempo stage, which I think this year was 5 or 6. I could be wrong. 5,000 or 6,000 people as well.
Keeps getting bigger.
It
The
keeps
stage
on getting bigger.
man.
Huge. And then, of course, there's like the silver stage and other stuff.
Yeah.
Gold. So hardcore is very well represented there. But like I said, the crowd can be quite critical and specific in what they want. So I wasn't too sure how they were going to feel about a hardstyle DJ making his way into the hardcore thing, playing on the biggest hardcore stage there at that festival, and then at the same time kind of doing a bit of a comedy routine.
Yeah, like stopping the music.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I was like, guys, I'm going to do this, no problem. When Q-Dance asked me, I was like, guys, I'll do this, no problem. Happy to do it. But if it goes sideways,
cut the shit.
I'm just going to keep on playing the music, right? and it didn't. Like the place filled up real quick, which I didn't expect because, you know, DEFCON, especially on a Friday morning, you would think people are going to be like, nah, we'll rock up maybe 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, whatever it is. Not at all, man. 11 o'clock, bam. By 11:15, pretty much full. And I was like, holy shit, dude, this is crazy. Then we started getting a couple of the people on stage. What I did was I divided the set up into quarters and had like 4 little confession moments. And, you know, people from the crowd came up on stage and sort of we did this little thing for, I don't know, 5 minutes or whatever it is. I didn't expect it to go so well. I really didn't. Yeah. Again, zero expectations. We had a couple of people come on. Actually, 1 or 2 of them were from Q Dance themselves as well, which I thought was quite cool. And then, you know, people, as the set went on, the confessions got spicier and spicier and spicier, which I thought was really cool. It's like people getting into
nice
it.
progression.
Yeah, and of course the music was progressing nice and rough, but the fact that people were warming up to the concept and they want it back again next year really shows the kind of atmosphere that exists at that festival.
Look, I'm going to do some stupid shit up until next year so I can come up on stage.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. And the spicier, the better, man.
Hot sauce and some,
you know, you got to do something like really retarded, man. I don't know, like.
Oh, okay. You want? All right. No.
Yeah. So I don't know, like.
Sorry, we'll have some fun.
You like fuck your postman's retarded daughter. That's great.
Sorry. Yeah.
That's great. Like do something like that, man. Just like take it to a rave and then get her drunk and then. You know,
I have no idea what's going on.
That's the spice that we want at the Hardcore Confessions, fan. It's got to be like dirty sins.
I told you this is going to be the most
I have
fun.
no idea what's going on.
It's these couches, bro. It's these couches. We're too comfy here.
Honestly, like I just got stuck between I'm clueless, bro.
Yeah,
I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
Don't worry, just be.
What he's saying is like, for him at DEFCON next year, he needs to come with an arsenal of ridiculous sins. So he's got to go and do them.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you a few about him.
later when we go through the confessions that came to you guys. So yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Going on.
Okay, all right. So that was just like, you know, the beginning
you're
of Friday.
filling us in. We watched the stream, but
sure,
the experience is different.
I mean, aside from that, of course, I had to do a lot of stuff like backstage, right? So interviewing different artists and catching up with different people. When I sat down with the Prophet to do his final interview, that was really emotional, actually. And afterwards, I had a bit of a cry. I'm not going to lie to you, because Dov was the guy that brought Bioweapon into the world.
Really?
Yeah, we signed with Scantrax.
Yeah.
So of course we had a small like release with an Australian hardstyle label, but that was very localized. And then thanks to Dov, Bioweapon is what got out there into the world. So he was really instrumental in my career. And I had gone through some rough times, and he sheltered me. He let me use his home studio as well. I was going there for a while, and so to sit down with him and of course reflect on his career. But then realizing that this is it. This is it, man. Like, that's powerful stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's quite emotional. Of course, he's such a lovely guy, and I'm sure our paths will cross again. But just thinking about that, even now I'm getting a little bit misty, right?
Because it's crazy.
I can see it.
Like, I'm not trying to compare it, but
no.
like in this sense, but. If you were to break it down to how slight it is, obviously let's take away the producing side of things. It's like, imagine just someone playing. It's crazy to think that someone's just playing music to a crowd and stuff like that. Like, if you broke it down in dumb terms, you could literally plug in a phone and do that. You know what I mean, to people. But when you think of what he's actually done, the music he's produced and stuff like that, and what he's actually done for the scene and for people like you especially.
Exactly.
Like that would be like this whole like other realm of like, damn, like this is it.
Yeah. I think there's always going to be like a piece of him, you know, with everyone.
Everything.
Absolutely.
With everyone. So not only just the music, but a lot of people don't understand that a lot of artists in the scene are not just music based. They've also done things for other people that other people appreciated.
Yeah.
And it will forever hold a sentimental value in their like careers, or whether it's helping you when you're down, or like you said, letting you use his studio. Like, these little things mean a lot to some people.
And sometimes they're not little things either. Sometimes
exactly right.
things.
But to some it's like, whatever. But that's why I would really suggest to everyone, like, to get to know the artist and learn a bit about their history. And like someone like the Prophet, man, like I brought this up in the other episode, but you know the carousel they posted, I think Scantrack posted it.
Yeah.
And it's like from like 1993 all the way to like 2023, man. Like it's like holy shit, you know.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
it's big, man. Like the stuff he's done, starting Scan Tracks.
Yep.
And also we got to meet Yorick at Carnival earlier this year for his last set, and like obviously Yorick is like his right hand man, I guess, and very nice guy. And he was just telling us like, you know, how this is like a big moment and stuff like that. And yeah, it's really good, man. Like I just really appreciate when I hear stories like that, because it's nice to know, you know, like that there's a lot of people that help everyone else around them.
Absolutely. I mean, ultimately, the way that I think about music is a tool that connects people, right?
100%.
And then thinking about like that connection and the experiences that come from that connection is powerful. Sometimes it's small, sometimes it's big. But in the case of Dov, you know, it's huge and it is so vast. With so many people, with so many different lives. Of course, the people that he's performed to and from, the friends that he's made, but so many people that he's just touched through either directly by helping, so in the case of me and plenty of other artists, or in the case of indirectly, like the artists that work on his label, right? His influence, I don't think will ever be matched, which is just incredible.
It's hard, especially in this day and age. Like, it's really something you can't create or recreate even. Recreating, but then you'll always get compared to a legend like himself.
Yeah,
you know?
but the thing is, knowing Dov, I don't think he really had the intention of like, this is the legacy that I want to build. It's more like, I'm working with cool people and these are cool music.
And this is the result.
And this is the result, you know,
Yeah,
at the end of all the hard work. And he's
exactly.
worked very, very
You kind of take it.
He's been strategic about it, you know, he's been
it's a
business-minded,
business,
of course.
You kind of take it as you go sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't
exactly.
think like, oh, in 15 or 20 years, I'm going to be the next legacy, you know what I mean?
Exactly
like,
right.
It's something that you, whatever you do now is going to add on to what's going to happen in the future.
Well, with what I
do
said with
hang the
like
boots.
Ellie and you guys, like you guys didn't know you were in that new style. He didn't know what he was doing was going to leave this legacy.
Yeah.
What he was doing was like, hey, this is going to benefit this.
Yeah.
And then in the long-term picture, if you look back at it, it would have been like, shit, every little thing I'm doing now has led to this.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Closing down the red.
It's crazy.
100%. That's
really, really crazy.
It's crazy.
So sitting down with him and talking about that, you know, that was like quite a large part of my Friday, as well as like, you know, checking out other artists and checking out different stages and everything, which is really cool. I mean, as much as I would like to say that I get to enjoy defqon to its fullest, often I don't, right? It's because I'll be doing stuff behind the scenes, I'm working. But I definitely enjoy what I get to enjoy. And see all the different moving parts and everything. And I get a pretty unique perspective, and that's kind of what Friday was about.
You get like a roster?
Yeah, I do. So there's a pretty strict timetable.
Is that like the first time, like is that the one and only time you get a roster in a year?
No, not quite. But I mean, it's pretty strict for the most part of like, we need you here. Because the media team that works with defqon, like they've got a strict deadline as well, you know. There's a broadcast happening at this time. We need X amount of items to fill however long it's going to be, so we need to cover all of this, and so we need to send the people out to record all of this, and so as a result, there's like pretty strict deadlines.
Yeah, and for granted, like
and that's fine. That's fine.
But look, honestly, kudos to you, man. It's not an easy job, and I can happily say that you've smashed it, man. Like
that's very kind of you.
You know, just watching what you do, it's inspirational for us, because like we're kind of doing things that maybe are part of what you're doing at the moment with the Q dance and stuff. And like eventually we'll want to branch out to like doing interviews and being part of festivals, like exactly like what you guys are doing too. Like that's why it's nice to see like someone we kind of look up to you. You know what I mean?
That's very kind.
In a way.
Big
So
time.
you sitting with us is crazy.
Yeah, honestly, like we take it for granted.
We do appreciate it a lot, the fact that you've given us your time, and honestly like it's adding more to our value, and at the same time we hope we're doing the same thing to you. You know?
Definitely. And it's just nice to chat, right?
100%, man.
With you, I always say this, bro, the most philosophical man in Hardstyle.
100%.
Like if you were a teacher, like not just a priest, if you were a teacher and like had a classroom, I swear, man, the people's lives you would change just by talking.
Yeah,
That's very kind.
It's fun. It's fun.
Very
You're the Joe
kind of you
Rogan
to
of Hardstyle.
There we go.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'll give you that badge.
I'll wear that badge, baby. I'll wear that
Audio
badge.
Rogan.
Joe Freak? No, it's not.
Audio Rogan.
Audio Rogan. I'll wear that. So Friday was, kind of like running around doing interviews after my set. Then, of course, there was the Three Blokes set on the UV, which was really, really fun. And that was probably the highlight for me of the whole weekend. I mean, first off, Three Blokes as a concept is a very Australian thing. It's a very goofy thing. And some people get it, some people don't. We were really worried that Dutchies wouldn't get it, right? And that at defqon, I mean, even though it's an international festival, there's still a very, very large percentage of Dutchies that are there. And so we're like, we don't know entirely how this is going to go down. We were following JDX and we're like, we don't know how it's going to be like following him. Then Bill X was on after us. So of course, the UV stage on a Friday, there's like, you know, it's all over this, all over the place. But because it's all over the place and people can pick and choose, and it's an open air stage where there's no real boundaries, you can just walk from one to the other because it's kind of like in a bit of a transit way to go from the red
behind the blue
to the blue. Yeah, so it's in this transit. Anyone can go. You know, the only thing that is keeping people there is if they really want to be there. So because of that, we're like, let's hope for the best. Let's do our thing, and if it sucks, then okay, whatever.
We have some homework to do.
Yeah, we've got some homework to do, but also we hope it doesn't suck because we want to use that as a stepping stone to do more European shows, right? Yeah. Because that was the first time we were performing like that in Europe.
Oh,
America, yeah, it was.
Yeah, America was the first time.
Yeah. America's the first time, and then we did it again here.
Yeah.
But then again, the culture might not translate, and we were worried about that.
But I love the Australia.
Dude. And how? Oh my God. It was packed, man. And I'm not one to toot my own horn. If it sucks, it sucks. You know, I'll be honest with you. And I've had plenty of sucky sets, dude. But this was something else, man. I just did not expect it. So to give you a kind of litmus test, a kind of barometer, a kind of way to measure how good the vibe was, we played Twister in the middle of the set.
I saw the video.
It was incredible, man. I told the boys I wanted to try it, and they were like, well, it's a live set, you know, whatever, we can kind of do whatever we want. And they kind of shrugged it off. They're like, yeah, whatever. It's just Crazy Sam, just whatever, man, you know, no worries. And I was like, you know, real determined that I wanted to do this.
We're doing fucking Twister, guys.
We're doing Twister, guys. So I bought the packet in, and they were looking at me funny. Even though we're all dressed all goofy, they were the ones giving me the stares.
Yeah, imagine standing in like clown costumes being like, hey bro, don't be funny.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
That's what TOZA does.
But somewhere like through the set, I saw a couple of circle pits open up, and I'm like, this is the right moment. We can do it here. This is the right atmosphere.
What did you do? Did you throw the box at someone?
No. What I did was this. All right, so I unboxed it, and then as I saw the circle pit opening up, I was, you know, jumped on the mic and told them to like pass it to the circle pit. And then I went up to the top of the stage and said, all right, guys, we're playing Twister. Music died down a little bit. And then I started just calling out, spinning the thing in front of him, started calling out whatever it landed on. So like left foot on green, and then you know, right arm on red, and then right leg on yellow, and whatever it is. And the guys were doing it to the best of their ability. And I didn't want to drag it out too long because it's a 45-minute set. JDX went a little bit over time as well, so we're kind of having to compress everything together. And then at a certain point, we're like, okay, there's a drop coming in maybe 15 seconds. Then we're going to hype them up, hype, wall of death. Bam. And then
everyone run into each other.
So good. That for me is like the example to show the atmosphere that was there in front of us. Because you can't do something like that if the crowd is shit and they're not into it. Because it's so out there, right? And there was a couple of other cool moments as well besides the circle pit. There was a couple of rowing moments as well. People sat down.
What about the shoey moment? I saw the video of you guys with Villain.
So we got asked to do a song for Power Hour.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, which is really, really cool. And full credit to Villain. He kind of steered the ship on this one. He was like, guys, I think it'd be really cool for Power Hour to do a shoey moment. And we're like, all right, dude, like we'll work on the track. I don't know how this is going to go down, but we'll do what we can to accommodate for it. And obviously that's a huge platform, and more importantly, a huge honor to be part of something so chaotic.
Yeah, Power Hour.
So we can talk about that because that's on Saturday. We'll talk about that in a second. But we wrote the song, and then he joined us on stage for that little moment. I think it was after Twister, and that's what we did. So we were already going to have a shoey moment in our set. That's like a staple part of a Three Blokes set. You know, it's very Australian. We want to export our culture out to the world, and what is more Australian than doing shoeys? So because of that,
it's truth.
Yeah, right. So because of that, he's like he wants to be part of it, and so we made it a whole moment thing, and then we had the song playing around, as part of the whole moment there while he joined us on stage on the Friday at the UV, which is really really cool. Seeing people get into it as well. Of course, there was a lot of Australians over there as well, and they were doing shoeies in the crowd. We were pouring beers into shoes and like pouring it into them, and
Just
all
a
sorts of
cesspool
things.
of
Just a
beer
cesspool of shoes and beer. It was
Yeah,
fantastic,
swear, yeah.
absolutely fantastic. I did like a raw one as well from someone else. It wasn't a clean shoe. It was just, I don't know whose shoe it was. I don't even think I gave it back.
I reckon it's on eBay, bro. Just in the crowd. You'll find it on eBay probably.
Audiofreq
Maybe.
touch my shoe.
No, Audiofreq had the shoey that Audiofreq had a shoey from.
Yep, love that.
Shoe.
Absolutely. I'm sure it's on eBay. Or maybe Gumtree, you know.
Maybe. Oh yeah, you know what? He
it's
probably
probably
brought
gone.
it all the way back here.
Yeah.
He probably misdeclared it because you know how on the
That's
on
right,
the
yeah,
card-
you can fuck customs.
Oh, like no, it's never been. It's a brand new shoes.
100%.
Brand new.
100%.
Brand new second hand.
But that moment and then being able to join with Villain and having a special song for it was really, really cool. And what is really cool to see is that the atmosphere at that set, besides, of course, you know, like I mentioned, Twister, is that people were so receptive to new music as well. Sometimes it can be a bit of a gamble playing new songs. Like people, where's it going to go? Oh, how's it going to go? I'm not going to get the biggest reaction on the drop because they're hearing this for the first time. No, that wasn't the case there. So even for that song, for the Shoey in Your Face that we did with Villain, massive reaction, which is really cool. And then for the rest of the Friday was, again, potting around. By that time, I'd lost my voice. So when I was doing interviews, it was like... Oh, dude, it was bad, man. It was really bad. So, I mean, I think I had to interview Rebellion.
Oh, nice.
Dude, I sound like a 50-year-old, like I've been smoking 50
Could have
years.
just done your own vocals for tracks.
Yeah, right? Yeah, you could have, right? Exactly. But of course, they were champions and whatever, and then got to see a little bit of what they were doing for the spotlight. It was cool, man. It was really, really cool. So the Friday was, of course, very intense running around, a lot of running around, and 2 sets. So, yeah, I mean, really, really awesome. Saturday started off a little bit more gentle for me, actually. Again, a lot more interviews, and by this time, my voice was well and truly destroyed. But it was more spent, for me anyway, just wandering around and working. So I didn't really get to see as much as I would have liked to, but that's the job. Still, you know, what I thought was really cool was because the Saturday is like the main day of the festival.
Yeah.
I hate saying main day because it's not.
Like, yeah.
But it's the one that really started it all, right? So
yeah.
there's single day tickets only for that day. Whereas for the rest, if you want to go the Friday or the Sunday
You
or
have
even the
to have
Thursday,
a full
have a weekend
weekend.
ticket, right? So there's a kind of injection of new energy because there's a day ticket available for the Saturday, and so you see
You have
new
fresh
faces. and everything.
people.
Yeah, it's more
Haven't been
lively.
bendering.
It's
Exactly.
more lively.
Haven't been bendering for 2 days.
Right. Well, it's more like the freshness that you get on the Thursday and Friday. Like you get it again on the Saturday because there's new faces.
It's like a
and everything.
recharge.
Exactly. It's like a recharge, and then because there's fresh faces, they also help recharge the people that are there.
100%.
So that was really cool. And of course the end show and everything was magical. I've made friends with. And this might sound a little bit sad, actually. I've made friends with a Ukrainian refugee. So she came over because of the war to the Netherlands. And she'd never been to a hard music festival until she met me. I took her to Masters of Hardcore, took her to Rebirth. And then, of course, it was like, well, you ain't seen nothing yet. Come to defqon.
Yeah.
And then during the Saturday end show, she was like bawling, absolutely bawling. Happiness because she had never experienced something so beautiful. Everything really synchronized and the whole
I'm not saying
moment.
I feel what she feels because it's shit she went through like a whole.
Of course, yeah,
But
man.
I know that whole thing of just like that unity, which like she
Yes.
probably hasn't felt
Exactly.
and just I know I cried like a little. Yeah,
Yeah.
bitch.
Yeah.
I got like a little bitch, so I know in that moment what she felt because it's
Absolutely.
just this. I feel like it's sort of culty in a good way.
Definitely.
Where at the end you're just like, oh, you know, like it's just this a sigh of relief. Like this
Absolutely.
is where I belong. These are my
Yeah,
people.
exactly. And it's interesting to see that from somebody that hasn't really spent a lot of time in the hardstyle scene.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, even more that. Yeah,
It's
I
like-
had a similar moment at defqon here.
I'm gonna come down.
Let's be serious. Come on.
No, sorry.
I had a similar moment. I think it was 2017 defqon. Yeah, 2017 defqon. At that time, I was obviously like still young, still 18, like turning 19 soon. No, actually, I turned 19 already. But my mum had planned to move overseas.
Right.
And it was literally a week before she moved. And like while I was in that intro moment, like everything hit me like, oh shit, like my mom's actually leaving next week. And I haven't had like lived with that mum in a very like in my whole life pretty much. Like she's always been the one that's there for me all the time and always been the most present parent between her and my dad. And it just kind of all hit me, and I was just like, my mate was like looking at me, bro, you all right? I'm like, my mum is moving overseas next week. And I feel like kind of like I was crying.
Yeah, sure.
But it was like not like fucking bawling my eyes out. Like it's just like you're staring at this beautiful fucking scene and you're just tearing up.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like a
bittersweet.
Yeah.
It's like oh wow, this is good, but this is shit.
Yeah, of
So
course.
it's like kind of like a balance. So I kind of understand.
Yeah, it's
and plus
emotional.
like I am a refugee myself too. So obviously moving here in 2010 from Jordan, it's the place we moved to after the war happened in Iraq. So kind of can relate to what you just said in terms of like I'm on the same wavelength. Sort of.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that was like a beautiful moment there. And again, like I said, right at the start of this very long defqon rant, I know how the magic trick is done. And still, it's so moving. It still gets me every time. Every time that rabbit comes out of the hat, even though I know how it's done, it's still special every time. And they really outdo themselves every time. And that was magical. Really, really was. And then the Sunday, like, I know they call it Sunday Fun Day, and it sounds super
before
cliche.
the Sunday, the Power Hour.
Oh, Power Hour. Yes, Saturday, Power Hour, of course. Right. So we've all seen it from one side. This time, I got to see it from a completely different side. And when they talk about it, they say it's going to be an hour of unbridled chaos. You know what, dude? I have never seen so much tight timing. Behind the scenes, it was anything but chaos. It was beautifully orchestrated. They had this like screen in the middle of the backstage area. It was like literally behind the stage. They had a screen where every item had a countdown timer for where it goes on, and then a countdown timer of how long it's due on stage, and then when it's supposed to come off. And it wasn't just one thing at a time. Like they synchronized everything. Shit. I don't remember how many show elements or show moments that they had. I could be wrong on this. I think last year there was 240 different show elements during the Power Hour, and this year it was another 100.
So would one dancer
element
be an element, or would a dance group be one element?
So no. It'll be like if the dance group is coming out,
that's one
and
element.
They're dressed, and they're dressed in a certain way. So let's say they're all dressed as I don't know, like cheerleaders or whatever. Then that is one moment.
So there was 300.
There's 300 separate. More than 300 separate moments. So every time, like, say for instance, when the Blokes came out, which was like 35 minutes into the Power Hour, that is one moment. So and we had to like wheel out this gigantic shoe. And Villain was out on stage and they're doing the whole thing, right? That is just one moment. And the fact that they used the song as long as they did in Power Hour, like that's a large chunk of Power Hour,
Power
man.
Hour,
You know,
when you think it's so cut down.
Exactly. And that was crazy. Then there's, of course, there's so many other different bits and pieces as well, like all the balls come out or the eyes come out. Left, right moment. These are all separate show moments. So the fact that we will be able to be part of that for so long in the relative context, I couldn't believe it, man. Like I just didn't expect it. I mean, when people are starting out in their musical careers, often they're very enthusiastic and very ambitious and they want to do this, that, the other. Never in my plans did I ever expect to be part of a moment like that at all. It's just so surreal. And then to be part of it, like I said, I've worked with Q-Dance for a while. I've seen how the whole thing comes together, and then to be part of that and to be chosen, I felt so blessed, really. And then, of course, we're being goofballs. We're we're being ourselves in a way. So that's really something special. And then
not just that, man. You're also bringing the Aussie culture.
That's what I'm saying.
To a very big crowd.
Who better to represent us?
100%.
I thought it was very blessed.
It's crazy because, like you said, like when you hear, you don't expect this stuff. Like you hear artists that are like, I want to play a defqon, I want to play a climax.
That's what I'm saying.
And then you're like, I want to play at a fucking power. Like I want my song to play at a power hour, and it's really more cool because that gets broadcasted more than most climaxes and stuff. You don't get climax that's like rewatches and stuff.
True,
like
true.
That.
That's very true.
That's pretty sick to see as well because
So
you look at
that
the
is
streams.
forever going to be on YouTube.
Yeah, so that you me tearing my shirt off wearing like a 12 or 16 pack or whatever we drew with the show in the market. That's going to exist for eternity on the internet.
Yeah, that's it.
So one day when you grow older, you have
Kids.
I'm not even going to say just kids, grandchildren. Like, hey, sit down. Let me show you what your grandfather used to get up to.
Wish I
back
had
in
much
the
of a
day.
sick out of my
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm going to tell him for sure.
Your grandpa was a sick cat.
Holding a baby long neck. I'm sure they'll exist in
Quarter to 8 in the
2100.
But yeah, that was really cool. So, I mean, that was madness. And then the Sunday was spent, again, for me, like a lot of interviews and everything. So I didn't really get to see that much, except for, of course, the closing ceremony, which, I mean, bro, just the level of passion that people had. You would think that after 3 days of partying, like they'd be like, "Yeah, we're kind of done now." You know,
Let's
no,
chill out
the
today.
opposite,
Yeah.
Dude, completely the opposite. And I know that there were like comments about, are these guys going to be? Do they deserve to have the legend spot? Right? I saw that online a little bit. Does defqon and Randy and Adaro deserve to
big
have the legend spot? And my immediate reaction when I was watching them play was, look at the interaction and the movement of the crowd. Watch how these hands move. This interaction goes to show how much of a legacy they have. They have earned their spot at Legends.
Big time.
Right? Because you could go back in time and take a look at some of the forefathers of hardstyle. It's not to discredit them or whatever, but would their music have the same level of interaction? And they weren't playing like their new stuff.
I heard Paradox, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, to hear Paradox on Red, like, I remember when Paradox came out a while back, and I'm like, fuck, this is such a beautiful, euphoric, dark track.
Yeah.
And it's technically raw, and stuff like that. But to hear it on Red, I'm like, yeah, fuck
Yeah.
yes, that was such a good moment.
And then watching the crowd respond to it.
yeah, yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, dude, you don't want to see me what I was doing during War Faces. Dude, when I heard 9 Circles and Art of War on there,
Yeah.
and I heard Deadly Guns on there, on top of that, I
Yeah.
wanted to punch and kill something. I was just in so much like, oh my God, why am I not there? Like,
Totally.
dude, fuck.
It was crazy. And so I guess the conclusion of what I'm trying to get at was like, despite the comments online, it was clear to me that they had earned their spots as legends. Just from the sheer level of engagement that they had with the crowds from playing old songs. And that blew me away. That was
Don't worry about
incredible.
the comments weren't partying. Like if you're on your phone.
No, but I think it's important to sort of acknowledge and then say, look, let's check out what you're saying, but from a different angle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
it's like
and-
you're exchanging your perspectives, really.
Yeah.
And maybe your perspective will kind of have an influence on what they are going to actually think after that.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know? But yeah, like with all the things you've done at defqon and, you know, the whole weekend and the recap you just gave us.
Yeah.
I know this is going to be a very hard question,
Sure.
but what is your favorite moment out of the whole weekend?
Like I said, Twister. I'm not even kidding you.
Was
Twister-
that the best, craziest, wildest,
Well, it's-
everything moment?
It was just like, I can't believe this is happening, first off. And it goes to show the level of crowd participation is the wrong word. I guess the atmosphere of like people
Like
wanting
how
to
chill
have a
people
good
are. Like
yeah,
how
they want to have a
it's
good
not actually
time.
that serious, you know? It's
Yeah.
just like, it's just everyone just having fun. It's all about having a good time.
Exactly, and that's what festivals should be about. Like I said, music is about connecting each other. Twister is kind of about connecting each other. No,
It's connected something.
yeah, right. No, but just to be able to have that moment there and just seeing that like people are open to being a little bit silly and having fun. We need to have that aspect at festivals, not all the time, and not every festival.
I think it's the right thing for the right moment kind of thing.
That's exactly
you know,
what it
it's
was.
a festival, so it's like there's a lot of festivities, you know what I mean? It's
There
not-
you go.
Like you're not talking about like a climax where you pull out a fucking twister.
no.
I dare you to do it.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's like right place, right time kind of thing. Like,
Exactly.
And plus, it's a 3 bloke set. Like, what do you? It's
Totally.
Like, it's like you're telling me GPF shouldn't like they wouldn't
They wouldn't
pull
have
out
inflatable
dildos
dicks.
and
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
running around. You know?
Exactly.
Or
Exactly.
Kane putting a fucking cucumber in someone's mouth.
Yeah,
massive.
totally.
You know, it's what people are expecting that.
Oh, absolutely.
So whatever happens is expected.
Sure. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly right. But yeah, the fact that people were open to that was really, really cool. I think. What else did I see? I was very proud of Hister playing. So we've become friends over the past.
Hister killed it.
Yeah.
You mentioned our last podcast, but I just like I kind of put two and two together after the episode. But yeah.
She's been doing really, really well.
My missus keeps sending me videos from her. She's like, oh my God, this song. Oh my God, this song. Oh my God, this song. Like, bro, she's killing it.
So
right?
yeah, exactly. So I was very proud of her in a kind of big brother kind of way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
She French?
yeah, she's French.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
So she's awesome.
She
She's
took
really,
Wolf
really
back. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, I know, right? So that was cool. That was one like part of a set that I got to enjoy, and I'm trying to think who else, if there was any other specific moments.
The Aussies?
I didn't really get to see that much. It was I know I
it's
really
work,
wanted to
like-
see Joel, so Diesel. I really wanted to
Yeah.
see him, but I just didn't. The things didn't align. I felt
Yeah.
really bummed out about that.
So who do you say was your favorite like interview or like you know because we're talking about the moment you gave us was like you performing.
Sure.
But what is like let's call it work, right?
Yeah.
You working under that roster. What was your favorite moment or something that really stood out? Like I know you had a lot of interviews and
Sure.
kind of things, and you already mentioned the Prophet.
Yeah.
But we want to see.
I know
something else.
exactly who it is, and I'll never forget this. Shout out to Cryogenic. Now
Oh,
he was yes, and I'll tell you why. We needed to interview him for the Yellow Stage, and I don't think it was broadcast, which is a bit of a shame because I was really happy with the way the interview went. When we were doing the pre-talk, just kind of like he was really nervous, and I'm like, bro, like you're a legend, man. When it comes to like really fast, hard music, you do such an incredible job. And your productions are on point, your DJ sets are on point. Why are you nervous, man? And he's sort of explaining maybe my English is not so good. Sometimes when the cameras roll, everything falls out of my head or whatever. And
So like me.
well, I mean, look, it happens to us all, right? Like if I have to sing or if I have to rap, and even if I'm doing it for myself, as soon as I hit record,
You're like it's like I don't know, something happens to your brain or like
exactly. When you know you're being recorded, something happens to your brain.
Yeah.
And he was explaining to me about this situation. I said, look, buddy, listen, we're not talking like politics here. You know, we're not trying to ask your opinion on engineering. We're talking about
I've got
you.
a lot to say.
Yeah, I'm sure you do, buddy. I'm sure you do. We're talking about you. And then at a certain point, I could see him relax and relax and relax. And then without even knowing, like I leaned over to the camera, gave him a wink and launched into the questions without him realizing he was being interviewed. And then he just went into it without a hitch. It was so good. And he did such a fantastic job. I wish it was broadcast because I think just what he was talking about and just like the ease that he was talking, for me, that really stood out. And of course, like I enjoy his music. It's brutal, but I really love it.
Speaking of Cryogenic, man, he's a fucking legend because, dude, I still remember he was playing first on the Sunday defqon 2018. Yeah, defqon, my first defqon.
Yeah.
2018, I think he opened the Yellow on Sunday. And then this guy was literally at 11 a.m. in the morning, fucking sipping of a Malibu bottle, smoking a cigarette, and fucking DJing at the same time.
What a
like,
champion.
Like straight from the bottle. And I've got
What a
videos of it. I'll
champion.
show you later. But
What a champion.
man, what a brutal set. And like, he was one of the first people I actually started listening to when I started listening to Uptempo back in like 2017.
Yeah.
Like, you know, his bass line, all these like,
Yeah.
What a track.
You know, Motherfucker is like another track. Like, man, he's got like really good shit.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I'm sorry, I haven't really been listening much lately, but I really want to check out his new stuff. And
Sure.
yeah, he's really cool, man. Honestly,
Yeah.
a really cool dude. And he finished his set, jumped straight in the crowd, and was
What a
partying for the
legend.
rest of the day.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing about harder DJs as well. With all due respect to D Block Estefan, are they really going to do that? No.
But to be fair, let's talk about like DJs that actually I've seen. That same day, like maybe a couple of sets later, or maybe even during that set, I saw Randy, glasses on, straight to the crowd in the middle.
Legend.
Literally, he walked past us by himself. I'm like, boys, this fucking Randy.
Yeah, I love seeing DJs in the crowd.
Yeah,
They're
I
like,
was like,
man.
bro, that's Randy, and he was just glasses on, straight into the crowd, fucking having a great time. Like, that's fucking insane.
Yeah, like
That's awesome.
Last year
Yeah.
at the Deadly Guns vs Anger Fist, you just see it was like the boys from Rebellion and Killshot were just
Oh,
there
yeah,
kicking
man.
back in the
All
crowd,
the time, bro.
chilling. Like,
Like,
it's so sick to see.
That year, I met so many DJs in the crowd. Like, I met Active Rage for the first time on the Friday at the gathering.
Yeah.
I met Killshot for the first time in the crowd. We saw Neroz just before he started playing at Indigo. Like, they're all floating around. Like, we saw Warface. He was watching Killshot too.
It's the best. Good
Yeah.
You know, the guys always pop up like out of
Yeah.
nowhere. You just see them in a fucking group. Like, what the
And
fuck?
I think that's something really special about the Hardstyle scene
Yeah.
is that you'll get those moments. I mean, you won't see like DJ Snake or TSO or Martin
No,
Garrix
100%.
doing that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Partially because they've got to go somewhere, and then partially because like, you know, they want to be by themselves. And so I when DJs are still passionate about what they do and
Yeah.
being able to enjoy the music that they're a part of, that's really refreshing.
Like being a fan of the music and being able to produce it is one thing.
Yeah.
But going back, sorry, just quickly, and I'm going to say, sorry,
Yeah.
oops. I think with the cryogenic interview, I think I'm going to say it on how I felt as well when you
Yeah.
helped us. I think firstly because you have such this calm, soothing voice, it helps, and just because you do help lead stuff. Like I remember we did our first episode with you, and it helped out so much. Like because you we let you talk a bit more because we were nervous, but at the same time you led it into opening questions for us and stuff like that. So like, don't discredit yourself as, you know, this was a good thing. You pulled that out of it.
It's always
an
teamwork,
awesome
dude.
man.
It's always teamwork, man.
Yeah,
It's always
you're a
teamwork.
legend, but yeah.
100%,
Stop it.
No, you are.
But yeah, back to what we were saying about like the artists and stuff. I think it's
Sure.
also the weekend festivals play a big part in that.
I would say so,
Like
yeah.
especially defqon, because nothing really is around defqon at that time. And
Yeah,
like
true.
I think there's certain festivals like Intense, defqon, where like there's not much happening around, and
I
it's
mean,
like
there's Sunrise, but I don't know if there's anything else. Maybe there's one in
there's
Germany.
double
But if you don't
festival,
have a booking at another festival, you're like might as well make a weekend out of it.
100%.
Especially with all the artist village things that
100%.
they provided, and like it's good. It's good.
Yeah, because you've got
Definitely.
like Harmony of Hardcore, then you've got 7 Sundays, you've got like Wish, and they had something after. Like you have a lot of festivals that are like back to back, like they have one day this and then like a second day that's like a big festival.
like something
but,
in Belgium or something, but,
Yeah.
but they'll still come back anyways. Like
That's true. That's very true.
I've seen a few of them. Like they'll drive out,
Yeah.
like, play DefCon, then go to their next gig and then come back to DefCon because
Definitely.
like all their mates are there, all their DJ mates are there.
Exactly.
It's like let's have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my DEFCON experience. Pretty full on. Like I said, I wish I got to see a little bit more, but you know, part of the job is of course like talking to the artists and preparing stuff for the thing. But we did get these cabanas for the
Gets me every
Saturday
time.
and the Sunday.
yeah.
So,
Kebabs.
I found out it's Cabanas with a Q.
of course it is.
So I'm just taking a piece.
But it was really cool. The whole experience and just everything coming down and then the final step from Dov from the Prophet and then the
It was a
the
proper
closing ceremony.
curtain call. Like,
It really was,
Yeah.
man. It really was. So
It's a really beautiful moment, man. Like
Absolutely.
obviously we wish him all the best to whatever is next for him. But yeah, one day hopefully we get him on the podcast. I don't know, but when the stars align,
we'll speak to York.
Yeah, we'll speak to Yorick,
We'll get
see
it.
if we can. Like, you know what? Don't worry, we'll work something out.
Yeah.
But well, moving on from all the DefCon stuff, and you know, obviously you're now in Australia. You got an upcoming tour.
Yes.
That you're already in at the moment. Your
Yes.
first show was
Canberra. Yep.
Yeah. So tell us a bit how the Canberra vibe is and how that went, because it looked pretty packed and looked pretty sick.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure where to start. But like, I guess I had no expectations, not in a bad way. It's just I don't know what to expect. Just going to go in with an open mind. I'm going to do my thing, try and meet the people where they're at. Let's see if they have a good time. I don't know how big this club is. I don't know if this is going to be very busy or not. And wow, let's start like that. The vibe, of course, was really, really cool. What I found really exciting, because I haven't played Canberra for a long time, and the few times that I have played Canberra has been in very small venues because it's not exactly a big party city, or even like really underground, out there kind of raves. And so that being my experience of Canberra, and then seeing it in this capacity, the club was packed. I'm not sure exactly if it was sold out, but they were very, very happy. The club owner was like, dude, we've had more people here than our headline house artists, all that sort of stuff. I'm like, all right, hell yeah, man, that's
do it
exciting.
again.
Yeah, let's do it again. I think it goes to show more of a reflection of the health of the hardstyle scene in Australia.
I was
going
to tap into that later, but we'll
that's
get
the
into it
feeling.
later, yeah.
That's the feeling that I got. Actually, was like, this is where the hardstyles is right now, where we can have this, and I can play 20 minutes of up tempo, and people are into it.
Yeah.
You know, and that blew me
I
away.
think it's all about setting the baseline of the beginning of your set.
Sure.
So that plays a big role of how receptive the people are going to be to the end of the
Yeah,
set.
but at the same time, I mean, like, people can be receptive, but if you've got a club half full, then there's only a certain amount of energy that you get. The fact that people came out for this particular night,
specifically,
and then you know, they kind of had an idea.
They know what to expect.
Which
especially with the tracks you've been releasing. You've released Raver's Religion, and you just released Defiance.
Such a track.
Yeah, thank you so very much.
Yeah, I was listening to it today. Honestly, man, like, well done, bro.
Thank you.
This is properly produced hardcore.
Hardcore, yes. I was just about to say it's hardcore.
Properly produced hardcore. Both tracks, amazing.
Thank
All
you.
like, you know, this snare, the claps, and everything. Like, you know
The
what I mean?
heavy
Like,
metal influence.
the heavy metal influence. It's really,
You know,
really
I
good
really
shit.
want to talk about that track, actually, because that one's really special.
I was literally just about to get onto it.
Okay. I don't know if I teased it when I was on the podcast last time, but the two. So I've worked with two other producers on that one, and then the vocalist Sovereign King. So the two other producers,
Amazing vocalist, man.
yeah, he killed it, man. It was really, really cool. But I want to give a really big shout out to the two other producers,
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna
David Levy and Jeffrey Day. Now, they don't come from the hard music world at all. Their exposure to anything that is hard dance related has come through myself, because they make music for games. They make music for TV. So Jeffrey Day has done Atomic Heart. He did a whole bunch of tracks for Atomic Heart that is out on PS5 and on Steam and everything. David Levy did the music for the soundtrack for the DLC for Doom Eternal. So for the Ancient Gods, part 1 and 2, he did the music for it. He's also done music for HBO, a couple of HBO shows, and some stuff on Netflix. So they come from a completely different world. But we're kind of bonded in distortion because of Doom and crunchy game soundtracks and all that sort of stuff. And we became friends over a couple of years, and I was like, you know what? Wouldn't it be really cool to get these guys on a track? Like, I think they're talented people, and they've done some prestigious work. Because, dude, making music for HBO shows, man, that's ridiculous.
But even just like when you think about it, people listen to music to like how we look at it as to dance to it, but to make music for something you watch or something you play.
Different.
When I hear like soundtracks in games, sometimes I'm like, fuck, turn it off. I need to focus on the game.
especially
Yeah, for sure.
Especially the Doom soundtracks, is we have some of them in, like, because I do powerlifting, so the stuff is pretty heavy, and like just there's one I'll get to the name later, but really, really good fucking track, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh wow, like
absolutely.
It's like a journey.
Absolutely, yeah. And so because of like our common bond in that kind of music, I thought, you know what, wouldn't it be cool to bring that into hardcore? You know, it's about aggression, it's about crunchiness, it's about like really huge sounds. I don't know how I'm going to get it to work conceptually, like when I first started the thing. And then we sort of found a way, and then I'm really, really happy with the result, because it's kind of uncommon. Like, remixing metal tracks is not anything new. I mean, Right Shift have done it quite a bit, and Rebellion have like pulled bits and pieces here and there. Hardcore and metal has a long history,
always,
but to do it in that context of game composers and really finding people that that's what they do, that's what they specialize in. It's not as simple as like, hey, my mate's in a band, can you jump on guitar and do this? It's something completely different. And so bringing that to life and then getting a really cool reaction out of it, because of course it's a bit of a risk, is a huge blessing and really, really encouraging.
Like you said, like you all come together to compose. It was like a composition. Like you actually look at the track, you break it down. Like it's so detailed, every bit of it. Like sometimes you get songs that waffle on like the breaks or something, like it just kills the track. Yeah. That was just a constant flow. Like it just maintained it had that red line that you didn't want. Like,
and I mentioned this about music in another episode, but there's some songs that take you through a journey.
Sure.
So like I said, if you close your eyes, you listen to it, like I feel like I'm in the track. It's like one of those tracks.
Bit horror movie vibes.
Yeah, for sure.
But I like that.
No, excellent. I mean, that's the whole idea, right? Like the song itself, and of course the video clip is all about like fighting off your demons, and in the end the demons win. So we wanted to translate sonically. We wanted, all that crunchy, synthy kind of stuff, like the very Doom inspired kind of stuff, and of course like the heaviness of the down tuned guitars and everything. It's really cool.
The first part, because I always get mixed up with like heavy metal screams and stuff like that. We dare defy the algorithm.
Algorithm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't want to get that first part wrong.
No, all good.
Because I just love that vocal. They're just
it's really cool. Big ups to Sovereign King on that one, because it just came
had a moment.
Came out awesome. Yeah. Because we were going through and we're like, when we first started, like Sovereign King and I, we wanted to do something for Gearbox actually. So we got linked together via Phil from Gearbox.
Yeah.
And he asked me to do, like Phil asked me to do something for the label. And I'm like, you know what, cool. I like that. I like working on music with a specific destination in mind.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to make this song because it fits this label, or I'm going to write something like this because I feel like this artist can contribute. I can hear a little bit of them in them, or whatever it is. We tried and we couldn't land something that we felt like fit Gearbox or that fit Rawstyle. And then as I started sketching out on something with Jeff and Dave, I thought, hey, you know what, dude? Do you think you could get on this? Like, how is this as an idea? Inspired by this, and named a couple of bands, and of course the Doom soundtrack. And then he was like, dude, yeah, I'm on it. And then just bam, 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 bam. It all came together. And so,
beautiful track.
Really
blasting.
I love when things piece together like that.
Absolutely,
It's like it's more of the journey's better than the result, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
But the result is still fucking good enough.
Thank you so very much. Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
High intensity.
100%. High intensity, hardcore.
Yeah.
High intensity.
But yeah, going back to the tour, obviously Canberra was amazing.
Yep.
So now next up you have Massive on Friday.
So I did Melbourne after Canberra. Also really cool. Didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Didn't play as much hardcore. I didn't feel like they were ready for it. I did play a bit, but not as much. But again, like I didn't know what to expect because it was playing for a promoter that I hadn't really played for beforehand. And I could be wrong in this, and maybe the guys can correct me in the comments. As far as I know, they have not had as much experience putting on hardstyle events.
Who was the promoter?
Evolution Events partnered up with Asian.
Oh, yeah. I saw that. Yeah. Yes.
So I'm not entirely too sure as to their history, but the impression that I got was like this was relatively new territory for them. Huge, crazy, like it just packed, and I didn't expect it at all because it's one of those things. Sometimes when you're playing for somebody new, or you're going to a new venue, or whatever it is, it's a new concept. You're like, well,
because it's like hiring someone with no resume. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that because you don't know what to expect. You're like, all right, I'm taking a risk.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're going to bring. But then they blow like...
Exactly.
I was going to say they'll blow you.
Speaking of blowing people.
Hardcore confessions time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it blew my mind. And then coming up this Friday, of course, playing at home at Massive, which is a home away from home. And I'm pretty excited for that.
Keen for that, man.
Yeah, man. Me too.
Touring Australia, like it's sick. Like it's something when you first start and you think about it, because the scene is over there, you're like, touring Australia. You don't think about it too much, but once you make it there, you're like, damn, I want to tour Australia. I want to go back home.
Absolutely.
Bring my music back home.
You're catching up with old friends, you're making new ones, and you're kind of like...
Why did I just have a deja vu moment from the last podcast?
I was going to say, it's like a pair of pants. It's like a pair of old jeans.
Definitely
I
is.
Literally just I had that moment in my head when you said that. But yeah, Massive this Friday.
Brisbane
and then
on Saturday.
Too.
Yeah.
I'm going to be with you both.
Oh, so, hectic. Yeah. Fantastic.
We're really excited for it. It's actually my Brisbane debut too. So,
cool.
Yeah. Really excited. So obviously supporting you is another thing on my list. So that's tick.
Nice.
Two-headed one. Bro, whoa, you really want to get onto this whole like road convention thing, right?
But yeah, it's actually my late birthday set this Friday. So I'm really excited for that too.
Congratulations.
And then you got Perth too?
Yeah, so I got Adelaide and then Perth.
Adelaide with Colin.
Yes.
And then
Perth I'm pretty sure is I'm the solo headliner.
Hard Era, yes.
That's right. And then the Saturday after that, leave the country, do Kuala Lumpur, and then back to Amsterdam.
You were there for a holiday?
Kuala Lumpur? No, man, just in and out. I want to get back to the studio, bro.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excited, yeah?
Yeah, of course.
I feel like from the last time we spoke to you, you are more energetic and in a way where like you know exactly what direction you're going to now.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, because I think at the time I was like, I don't know if this is going to work. Yeah. And then now that we're kind of deep into the process of releasing.
You're in like a limbo.
Yeah, exactly right.
Trying to get answers and stuff like
exactly
that.
Right. And to be perfectly honest with you, when I jumped on the podcast last time, I'd gone through the beginnings of what came out to be a very, very brutal breakup.
Yeah, let's talk about all this stuff.
Sure.
That's what I wanted to get into.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then we're hardcore confessions.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's rip into this BITCH.
Look, it was pretty rough, man, because it came out of nowhere, right? The breakup came out of nowhere, and it wasn't one of those ones where we'd been fighting and having problems. It literally was just like, I don't love you anymore.
Yeah,
and it was like, and it was 2 weeks before we were both due to fly out to Australia. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I had planned to propose to her while we were going to be in Australia.
Oh, what the fuck?
Bro, this is the biggest.
So it was a lot at once, man. It was just kind of like, oh, dude. It was really rough. And then when I came back from tour in Australia,
the funniest part is
it gets worse, man. It gets worse.
No.
So I landed back in Holland.
Does she know this, by the way?
Huh?
Does she know all this?
She's gonna fucking know.
Yeah, well, dude, I don't care, man.
Fuck.
It's okay.
Anyways,
This is your
you're in a
therapy
better
session.
spot
It's
right
a
now,
therapy.
bro.
Yeah, it's like
That's
just you, me, the microphones, and then maybe the hundreds of people listening out there.
Yeah.
Got back from tour in Holland. I slept in a bed in our old apartment because it was no longer my apartment for 2 days, and then had to sleep in a hostel for a month because she was like, "Get out."
Back to the bioweapon days, huh? Hostel.
Yeah, kind of. So that was really rough, and then had to like bounce in between that and sleeping in the studio and all that sort of thing because I had nowhere else to go. It was really rough, and I think that sort of it obviously sucked a lot, but that sort of began a kind of transformative process in terms of I have never hit the gym so hard in my life. My God. Like,
you turned that negative.
Yeah, you look
exactly.
leaner, man.
Exactly.
You look pretty
That's exactly what I did. I was like, there's two ways to handle the situation. I can stew in it and be a victim to circumstance.
I can just be better.
Or I can channel all this negative energy into the plates, onto the treadmill. And that's what I did. And I can say that, that was really transformative.
That helps mental health as
so
well.
much, dude. I mean, here's the thing. Like, when you're on a treadmill and you're running for, I don't know, however long you want to run for, if you're running hard or not, if you want to have, like, a decent run, you're going to be there alone with your thoughts, no matter how loud the music is. And you need to be, like, working through shit to be able to sustain keeping running. And so that helped me quite a bit. That was a kind of therapy thing that I was going through every day, just kind of confronting my situation because I was there in it. And so I'd be on there running as hard as I can. I don't know, 3 kilometer run or 4 kilometer run or whatever it was I was doing. And, brutal, very, very brutal death metal to sort of like saturate the mind with intensity. But I was there alone with my thoughts, and that helped quite a bit. And and I've been doing that ever since. Maybe like 4, 5, sometimes 6 days a week in the gym. And obviously the situation sucked, but at the same time, now I've never felt better, which is really, really
So
nice.
you've turned a shit situation into a really good situation.
As much as I can do. Yeah.
You benefited from it.
Yeah, and we're happy to hear, man, because like I said, I can tell the energy shift from the last time to now. Obviously, like, we didn't see much.
Yeah.
You didn't tell much, but now, like, knowing the situation, it's fucking insane, man.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
Yeah, 'cause I remember, you posted it, and I was like, "Fuck, man! Like, if you ever need anything, like, I don't know."
Oh yeah, because I remember you posting something about.
Yeah, of course. Like, we can talk about that. So, somewhere through that whole process, right? Like, I did find a place to live. And I moved to Appledorn, which is the same town that Vertile, Code Black, Tone Shifters, Brendan Hart, and I'm sure there's Defense, a lot of the boys are in. But here's the thing about moving to a town is that you might be moving to a town where everybody's close, but still everybody has their own lives. And there was a certain point after I'd put all my stuff into the new apartment that I was just alone.
Yeah,
and it was just
with your thoughts again.
alone with my thoughts.
Just that moment of silence.
And just silence. And it wasn't just a moment of silence, but rather I hadn't spoken. It ended up being a few days of silence where I hadn't spoken to anybody. I hadn't uttered another word to another human being for something like 3 or 4 days. And at that point, I was just like, fuck, this is hard. this is rough, man, because we're social creatures. We're meant to be around other
100%,
people.
yeah.
Of course, we need our alone time, and if you're a producer of music, then you need a lot of alone time. But there was a certain point where I was just like, dude, I do not like being alive right now. I really do not like being alive right now. And there's no easy way to say this, man. I just broke down and cried for a long time, you know. And then at a certain point, I sort of took a look at myself and said, you know what, Sam, you're not doing okay, but it's okay that you're not doing okay. And as a result of that, I started to think about, well, what should I do about this situation? It's difficult to admit to friends that you're not doing good. Maybe they can see it and they'll ask if you're going through a particularly rough time. If you've got good friends, they'll help you out. But because in that particular situation, I was not seeing anybody, as in I was just alone, like with boxes and shit. I thought, well, yeah, I'm not doing okay. At some point, I need to like do something about this. It took a bit of strength to admit to my friends, of course, that I was not doing good. But I thought also as a sign of making it okay to be vulnerable, maybe I should say something. And that was the intent of the video, right? So I put a video up online, sort of just dictating a little bit of that I wasn't doing so good. Yeah. Didn't want to go into the details, didn't want to do the whole name and shame thing, because at the time I didn't feel like it was appropriate. And then I wanted to stimulate the conversation of just like people opening up about their mental health. I recorded it and then waited a week. So by the time that it already went up online and the comments started flooding in, I was already starting to do better. So if we think of it as like an inverse bell curve, where it's like doing good, feeling really shit, and then starting to do better again, I was already on the way up again.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Sorry, let me get some water.
That's all right.
And it was a kind of confrontational thing because it's not easy to admit you're not doing good. It's of course easy to say, hey, I'm killing it, right? Yeah. Or if like, you know, something drastically happens and people are around, like say you have a car accident and people are like, you're right, you know what? No, dude, I'm not doing so good. Like I've busted up my shoulder. But it's another thing entirely to say, you know what, mentally I'm not doing good.
Completely different thing. And like I was going to say, like, I think also with I can't compare it because I don't live that life, but I know when I have fun and go party, but it's that whole, like your whole balance of your mental health with your actual, like your serotonin levels, your like all that. Yeah. You're always at this baseline where everything's so high peak that when your baseline's reset, and you come back to reality and realize you are a human being at the end of the day, like it crushes you even more because it doesn't just reset. Like it pushes it past that baseline to be like, bro, you're a human being. You have to go through this shit. You can have fun on stage. You can do all this stuff. Yeah. But I gotta crush you down to the smallest thing that you are, just so you can realize what you are at the end of the day. And that's how I feel like a lot of like, I know my parents just recently moved overseas as well, and like for like 2-3 weeks, I like still am a little bit, but 2-3 weeks, I was just trying to do whatever I could to get my mind off it. And then as soon as I had that calm, I was like, that broke down. I was like, damn, this sucks. Yeah. But I think with the people you have around you and the support and the community, I think there is a stigma behind it, but I think it's slowly getting crushed, and everyone's being a bit more open about it and confined within their friends. Absolutely, a bit better. So absolutely, shout out to everyone that's reached out to any one of their friends. Definitely, and that was trying to be the core part of what I was trying to say as well. Was like checking on your friends, because it's so important. Even if they seem like maybe they're just having an off day or whatever it is, just check in anyway. It doesn't hurt, and you don't really see, for the most part, when artists are struggling. And so I thought, this is a platform that I can use, not necessarily to highlight my own struggles. But just raise awareness. But to raise awareness, exactly right. Then I think it was like a week or two afterwards, I went to Masters of Hardcore, and of course had a lot of people checking in on me and everything. But what I found most encouraging was that there'd be people coming in saying, you know what, I've been struggling as well. Yeah. And I'm so glad that you said something, because this stimulated me, this encouraged me to open up to my friends and talk about my struggles. And for me, that is the goal. Yeah. That was 100%. The whole thing. So obviously, like, kudos to you for going through this and coming out really, really strong. But also, what advice do you have for people that are kind of like closed off, that don't want to open up, even though they have a really good support network around them, but they're just really, really close, they don't want to open up, or kind of they're stuck in their own head where like they don't know what to do or how to move on from the battles they're going through?
I guess the first thing is like be brutally honest with yourself. And that's what helped me as well. And that's part of the whole treadmill thing, because I was having to be brutally honest with myself. And I had this moment of like, you know what, Sam, you're not doing good. But it's okay to admit to yourself, and then by extension to other people that care about you, that you're not doing good. Because being vulnerable takes strength.
Yeah.
Takes a whole bunch of strength. And maybe you don't have that strength now, but when you do and you are vulnerable, then you get nothing but love back.
Yeah, because with weaknesses, there are strengths. And if you can realize your weaknesses, you know where your strengths are, so you can work on that.
There you go, exactly.
very good.
And there is no shame in admitting that perhaps in a certain area you are weak, because that's the only way that you can learn how to overcome that.
Yeah.
By being honest with yourself.
Fuck, man. You're going to make me crunch.
But the thing is, I think it's important for men's mental health, because we don't
It's
normally,
a taboo. It's a
we normally
taboo.
don't talk about it,
Yeah.
right? And that was the whole thing, to be able to at least take a step in the right direction to allow ourselves to talk about it.
Yeah, 100%.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's. I think we've covered a lot of.
We did, man. We've been going through a lot of stuff.
What are we at? Fuck, this is. I always
I'm so
said this.
sorry.
I said this last time. No, when we finished our first episode, I'm like, dude, we need a part 2 to this shit. And
Yeah, because there's a lot to talk about, man.
Definitely.
And we don't want to we don't want to dilute it and make it
No,
like,
of course not.
Oh yeah, we'll just give you the snippet. Like, I don't care if we get 10 or fucking 600 viewers to this, or 1,000 or whatever.
What we could do is what we could do. Like I'm in charge. What you could do is we can do a part 1 and a part 2.
Yes, but also in the same time, I want people to see it as like a movie.
Sure.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, sit down on a Sunday, have a beer or two, or like whatever.
Yeah.
Cuddling with your girlfriend.
But also, like, it goes to the whole thing of like when you're at work and stuff like that. Sometimes people do switch off, and so now I don't. Dude, for me, I'm not even kidding. 8 hours a day. From 6:30 till 2:30, I'm just podcast. I don't listen to music. Fridays, I listen to music.
Yeah.
Just for release radar.
Yep.
And then here and there on the drive home and stuff like that.
Yeah,
here and
word.
there. But yeah, Monday through to Friday or Saturdays, 6:30, 2:30.
I actually have a lot of friends that like schedule us in the time during their week where like they're gonna actually listen to us.
they're
That's
like,
awesome.
I'm gonna listen to Monday.
Like, oh, it's
Tuesday.
Monday. I just started my working week. I'm in the office. I'm gonna put you guys on, and I'm gonna do my work.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so
that's cool.
like
That's
I
cool to
said-
have dedicated fans like that.
100%. And honestly, man, like I said, when we started this, we want to provide value to as many people as we can.
Sure.
And kudos to the people that like are listening to us and to
supporting
us and stuff, and we really appreciate it, because we are starting to see even more now walking around at events, and you know, people. This guy going to Casula Chemist Warehouse, and
was a
getting
price line.
recognized, price line, whatever.
You got recognized in Priceline?
Yeah, by the cashier. Like,
yeah?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a little
That's
kid.
hectic.
Hey, you look like someone famous.
Yeah, it was fucking sick. I was
That's
like,
awesome.
So like that, like, you know, a lot of people are return customers.
Cool.
And they really look forward to that second Sunday of the cycle where like
Yeah.
you guys are releasing something. Who's next?
Cool.
We're keen to hear it. I know
Absolutely.
some episodes were a bit like wonky, some episodes were really, really good.
Yeah.
But
That's
at
the
end
nature of
day,
podcasting,
like,
man.
we're just trying to be as natural and raw as
course.
possible. So.
I just want to have some fun as
Yeah.
well. Like,
Yeah, of course.
we got
Yeah.
busy lives, so if I go out on a night before I record a podcast, I apologise ahead of time.
You're good. You're good.
Oh no!
Let's shift gears.
Let's shift gears.
Yeah, because we just had a little bit of a heavy session.
Yeah,
let's,
yeah, that
Let's
was
make it a little bit lighter. Yeah. What do you got for me?
I wanted to ask you,
Sure.
your hardcore confessions.
Yes.
What did you have? What was the craziest one you heard?
When the ones that I was reading out at defqon?
Yeah. Are they going to be released?
Probably, yeah, because
Okay.
it was all part of my set, and all the sets are going to go online.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
backstage,
So
yeah.
they'll be they should be released. Yeah.
Okay, so check it out. if
The
it's not
craziest one. Okay. You know what? Shout out to the guy that had sex on top of a portaloo, not in it. On top.
What?
On top. So I think that deserves a round of
How?
applause.
Yeah, a round of
Like,
applause.
that's crazy, man. On top of a portaloo, bro.
How?
You know what? I didn't ask. About,
no, not.
I didn't ask about the mechanics, but
But between us, logistically, how? Like,
it's a good
let's
one.
be realistic. Either you're
Okay.
standing upright to get, like,
you know,
as
maybe
much-
she's like lying down and like legs on one side, arms tilted back on the other one.
Was this during Gezellig?
Gezellig up tempo?
Imagine that. Just that's a shit show. Like,
Yeah.
imagine that. Just
And remember when I was talking about when we're talking about the cabanas and
Yeah.
There's a video of
That's
two
right.
people smashing on the right hand side of the stage, And then that's what I was like, villain and someone else saw it, and then they pointed at it, and then they walked to the back. So I don't know what happened after.
Villain joined in.
So, hey guys, hey,
What's up?
Did you saw that?
I reckon. Have you seen the duck meme?
No.
The duck meme where like there's two people like rooting, and the duck. Oh, you all want some bread? I'll show you. Like I'll show you.
You gotta show us that,
It's
bro.
a classic meme. Bro.
Gosh, I haven't seen that one.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there was also another ballsy guy that he got up and he said, last year I snuck into DEFCON, and this year, like, I paid it for a ticket, but the organizers of DEFCON were like there.
Yeah.
Like, right. I'm like, dude, that takes a lot of balls to say I jumped the fence last year,
yeah.
and well, this time I bought a ticket, but I jumped in last year. I'm like, bro, like, okay, it's not really that crazy in terms of thing, but like at the same time,
You got balls.
You got balls to admit that in front of so many people.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I know what it was. A guy had a threesome in Spain. Nothing special about that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah. You've been through them.
Yeah. That's like cool. You did good, but you know, every now and then everybody scores a goal, so it's whatever. The thing is, one of the girls was pregnant. Oh, okay, big whoop. She was 7 months pregnant.
What the?
Yeah, right? Oh my god, dude. That's spicy as fuck.
Like, did he know?
I didn't ask the mechanics, man, but I'm like, there's some proper human submarine situation going on there.
it's
You know
basically
what I'm
a
saying?
foursome.
It's exactly what I said. It's exactly what I said. Oh my god. It's exactly what I said on stage, man. That's exactly what I said. Bro. That's spicy, man. Well done.
Imagine you're inside and you feel like a touch.
Like a hand coming, like,
oh shit, that's the feet.
oh, dude.
You alright?
Is that you?
Bro, what a guy.
Well, bro, honestly, you killed it. That was funny. Thank you, bro. That was good.
Fucking hell, man.
Oh, bro.
What a champion.
Oh, God.
All right, but I believe we do have some
we have
fan submitted confessions for today.
Yeah. We'll see what you can advice you can give
Okay,
as
all right.
well,
So,
if you
okay.
can.
Yep.
We won't do too much. One is a big, I personally feel this is a big no-no also.
All right.
I accidentally missed Tone Shifter's Magenta DEFCON set. That's a big no-no. There's no...
I mean, Aussies abroad got to support Aussies abroad, right?
Exactly right.
Oh, guys, you done goofed.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
Also, I got to add to this, classic sets, like Magenta sets, what they usually are, try not to miss them as much as possible.
No, of course, it's
because
special.
you won't see that stuff too often.
No.
And it's...
Like Omega
it's also,
types?
It's also a hit or miss thing because let's say, for example, I'm just going to say Tone Shifters because I don't know too many of the others, like specifically.
Yeah.
Let's say Tone Shifters doesn't play a great classic set, but he was your favorite classics artist.
Yeah.
He might have not entertained the masses. He might have entertained you, and you missed out on that one time. You
There
might
you go.
never see it again.
There you go. Couldn't put it better myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, all right, fuck.
Yeah.
All right, next one. I broke the bro code and cuddled my friend's cousin. May the Lord forgive me.
Cuddle or like cuddle smash?
Does it have a?
Well, I mean,
has
there's
emoji?
a cry emoji with like a chili next to it. So I'm
Yeah,
assuming it's a very spicy.
It's a
cuddle.
spicy cuddle.
Yeah. Don't say the names.
No, of course not. No,
This is anonymous commit.
Yeah,
Oh.
It's
Okay.
no.
That's my girlfriend.
Oh dear. I mean, it's not great, is it? It's not the worst thing, but it's not great. I mean,
But like, what do you reckon? Would you have to tell? Because what's worse, them finding out or you telling them?
what's the situation again? It was his cousin, not an ex.
Yeah, so like let me just say it again. So
Yeah.
I broke the bro code and cuddled my friend's cousin. Cry emoji, chili. May the Lord forgive me.
Friend's cousin. Look, if it was an ex, very big no-no.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
just
oh,
bad.
that's-
That's bad. Cousin, look, it's not great, of course, but it's also not immediate family. If it was sister,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's a
I
no-no,
think it
yeah.
gives it a bit of the
exactly, bit of
bit of leeway.
distance,
Yeah.
bit of
But
distance
look,
there.
What would your advice be for this situation? Like,
Look,
do you reckon he
Don't
should?
do it.
at a certain point, a secret's going to get leaked. Tackle it head on.
Yeah.
I think it's better to confess
Yep.
your sins.
Yep, it is.
Or,
Be honest.
Or
Be honest.
prepare to deal with the consequences.
Exactly right. Because you imagine somebody has a little bit too much at Christmas, says something a little bit then. When the family's around, bro.
Oh, yeah.
No.
So this one time in band camp. All right, next one.
Shit.
Yeah.
At Midnight Mafia 2023, me and some shorty did anal in the nasty cubicles while off the apps.
Oh, dude, rave sex and anal. Oh, bro.
That's the Trinity.
That's pretty nasty, man. I'm not gonna lie to you.
In the was it in the cubicles?
In the cubicles.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's pretty
That's
dirty.
that's it. So yeah.
Let's put it this way: it's only up from here. You know.
Yeah. At least they did it in somewhat privacy.
Yeah, exactly. This wasn't Power Hour.
And this wasn't over the portal loop.
This wasn't on top of the portal.
But
Yes,
can I
well.
also be good? You can get away with it easily.
Yeah.
Just depending on how good your game is to the BPM.
Word.
Yeah.
Word.
So like,
yeah,
if
it
you're,
wasn't to the music. If it was to the music,
yeah.
And
It's
if
just
you,
gonna
if
sound
you
like
like
a filter.
dude, if he like popped at the drop, well done.
Yeah. Climaxed at the climax. Audiofreq's got the answers for it.
Fuck, this is good, man.
Oh,
This is actually good.
I love this.
All right, next one. At 15, I had sex with my girlfriend inside a church. We were poorly hidden, and there was 30 to 40 people there too.
Ooh, okay,
Fuck.
Am I not seeing this one, bro? What the fuck?
This is fresh, man. Oh, being unholy in a holy place. Oh, I don't
look who
know,
it
man.
is
Like,
Look at it.
I've got it now. It wasn't coming up. I don't know who that is.
You
Sorry.
don't know who that is?
Sorry.
You know who that is?
Well, I mean, they've desecrated a holy place. So on principle, it's kind of bad. I tell you what's worse. So look, at least it was just a church service, because if it was a funeral, bro, that's dark. And that's happened. All right? I haven't been the guy, but I've heard of it.
I mean, 4 weddings and a funeral.
Right,
Isn't
listen,
it?
the one on the left.
Still don't know.
What?
Nah.
Okay, I'll tell you.
No, don't leave it.
No,
It's all
I'll
right,
tell
it's
you.
all right.
Yeah.
Look, it's bad. It's maybe like first level of hell, but it's not ninth circle of hell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not like the Family Guy all the way down the hill.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like the slow train to hell, not the express elevator.
Yeah. I'll take you on a journey first.
There you go.
Scenic route.
Exactly right. Exactly
And 15 too, bro.
Right. Yeah, but it's if they're both 15, then it's
No,
like
I'm just saying, like, at that age to do something so sinister, holy shit.
yeah, I mean, it sets
Bro.
you up. Sets you up for life, man. That's, yeah.
It makes you question, is he the guy on top of the porta potty?
Yeah, well, could be, man. Maybe this guy's on a rampage, dude.
Hey, yo.
That elevated this game, bro.
No, but here's the thing. Like, what would have been a lot worse if, like, one of them was, like, 18 and the other was 15. Then you just kind
Yeah,
of like,
yeah,
guys,
yeah,
what
that's
the
bad.
fuck?
Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah.
But that wasn't the case. So it's,
yeah.
it's just minor desecration, not major desecration.
We touched on this one.
Wait. I see what you did there.
Were you reading these on stage? Bro, you should do a stand-up next year.
Hey, stand up, Sam.
Stand up, Sam. I love
That's
it.
it.
I love it. I
You'll
love
be
it.
the new Sam Kinison.
Nah.
You know Sam Kinison? Yeah. You don't know.
I don't know who that
Far
is.
out, man.
Comedy-
Shit, bro.
comedy
This
like-
went fucking south.
No, this is going north.
this is the spicy pod.
Yeah.
Next.
This is we touched on it a bit, but like you've already given your answer. I really thought that Rave Bay would last,
Ah, me too, man.
but also we can take this on another way. I thought Rave Bay would last.
Me too, man. Me too.
Damn. So do you last longer than your sets, or?
Hey, you gotta practice safe sets, bro.
No, I know.
Safe
bro.
sets.
sets.
Fuck, you're foreign tonight,
Yeah,
bro.
man. It's awesome.
You're killing
It's
it.
hectic.
Whoa. You're gonna
You're dropping
expose.
balls. That's explosive.
That's my tang, man.
Yeah.
All right, the last one we're gonna touch on today. No pun intended. my most shameful festival breakfast consisted of 2 ex-alcoholic calippos at 3 p.m.
Oh, okay. No, you know what, dude? That's a breakfast of champions. Yeah.
That's a nice somber one.
Yeah.
But
that's Breakfast of
from this person who sent her, they're not we know them personally, and they're not they're like you said yourself, they're not the drinking type as well. So
this
for
is
that
pretty-
to be a breakfast,
Yeah. At
as
3
well from
p.m.
them,
too.
At 3 p.m. is
And double, 2x. So it's not one,
so
it's two. So you definitely indulge in more.
Exactly. It is indulgence. If you think about it, if you want to break it down into your 7 deadly sins, that's absolutely gluttony. Yeah. Absolutely. But at the same time, what a champion.
we're champion.
All right. And just before we close off, I got my question, which is something we didn't ask you last time because
Sure.
we have another question
How
now
big?
as
Say
a
when?
segment.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. So
Small.
So this TOZA question is:
Yeah.
What is your most uncomfortable situation that you've ever been in?
Ooh.
Doesn't have to be hardstyle related.
Most uncomfortable.
Maybe playing
Okay.
at a gig.
No, it wasn't. No, they're fine. Because even when they go south, it's okay. Because
with
I
the
understand
promoters?
like the whole thing. With promoters, no, I don't think I've had too many.
Sisters.
Let them cook, bro.
Oh, I know. There is one. Yes, and I'll never forget this. All right. So it was like the first time that I was playing in Adelaide. And it was a small, very ravey promoter. It wasn't very professional. This was way back in the days when everything was a lot more ravey, before I started my hardstyle journey. And played the set, whatever. And I was like, okay, I'm done. I want to go back to the hotel. I want to chill. And that's what they did. They took me back to the hotel. But they didn't understand that the hotel booking should have been just for me. And they were having an after party there. Fair enough. All right, these things happen, miscommunication. That wasn't the uncomfortable thing. The uncomfortable thing is that I woke up with a couple next to me having sex. And then, no. The audacity was like, they looked at me, I looked at them, and I was like, what's going on? And they're like, oh, sorry, did we wake you?
Did we wake you?
Bro.
Wakey.
What?
Do you know what? Was this when you were like still drinking and stuff like that?
I mean, I
or
wasn't
did you
drinking. This is sorry, like I kind of went on this journey of like teetotal, drinking and partying, and then now I'm like not drinking anymore.
Yeah.
So this was before that. This is like super innocent, fresh out of church, Sam. And I'm like, what the hell is happening, man? Yeah. Did we wake you, bro? The balls on this guy, man. He was balls deep and he's showing me his balls again.
Fuck.
Come on. Bro. That was uncomfortable as fuck. And then, not the same, no, it was the same promoter. He got me back. I was like, oh, I'm sorry for what happened last time.
What happened again?
Yeah, what happened again? And then this time they were doing like a kind of bushed-off rave, whatever, out 2 hours north of Adelaide. So you know it sticks as fuck. So Corey and I, we played a set and whatever. So we're doing UK hardcore set. And then we're like, all right, look, we need to get some sleep. Our flight's in the morning, whatever. We go to bed, get some sleep, wake up, and then it's time to leave. And they're sitting around the table, this little kitchen table of where the bush stuff was in this little cabin thing, and they're just there smoking ice.
What the
Fucking Adelaide. Oh my God.
That was not ideal. That was not ideal.
Bro, I'm gobsmacked.
Bro. Yeah. Think about your choice of children. Jesus.
Sorry.
What the
Yeah, I've had some
fuck?
uncomfortable situations for sure.
fuck.
Those
Holy
two,
shit, that's
that
the
was-
spiciest
Sorry,
one.
did we wake you?
Yeah, no. Did we wake you?
Oh, good
Are
morning.
you serious, man?
Hey, good morning. We're packing up to go.
Yeah, sorry, did
I
we
mean, I had
wake
so many
you?
questions like, how long have you been here, man? Like, is this number
Oh,
one
just
or
about
number
three.
10?
See, that can apply to both things. Like, how long have you been here fucking next to me?
Exactly.
How long have you been on this glass barbie?
Man. It was just like, all right, like, yeah, that was a lot, man. And then
Damn.
because it was 2 hours north and we didn't have they drove us there. So
Oh
like,
my fucking God.
so one
Bro,
of these,
2 hours north.
one of these
Jeez.
guys had to drive us back home with
Hey.
eyes like,
Hey, at least
yeah.
you know they'll be awake all night.
Yeah, exactly,
No
man.
pit stops.
Yeah. So the other guy, the did we wake you guy, right? Like afterwards, like did a whole bunch of like they left the room. Then by the time it was time for me to go back to the hotel, like he'd already done a whole bunch of cat and then was driving me back to the airport. We stopped at a red light because of course that's what you do. Went green, it was green for ages. Went through a cycle of green and red and then green and red because he was just that K'd out. And I'm like, I can't wait to get to the airport and get home.
Welcome to the
man.
whole children.
Oh, Not ideal.
Oh man.
Bro, honestly, I'm fucking speechless. And the problem is with me, like when people say shit to me, I visualize it.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
Bro, I'm fucking scarred, bro. I'm not gonna sleep tonight,
I'm
man.
putting myself in all those situations
Dude, it
currently.
was
But
not-
anyways,
yeah,
thank you so much.
No, it's
Bro,
a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
No,
pleasure's
pleasure's
Awesome,
mine.
awesome. You know, like probably I always say this, but this is probably the most fun I've had on the fucking
Yeah.
And like it went like an incline of just like okay, hectic. We're talking about music, then fuck your defqon journey, and then it went north to like the most intense
Like,
fucking
gosh,
shit,
That's,
man.
that's what a podcast should be, right? It should be a
Fuck
journey.
yeah.
Should
It
be a
was
journey.
good.
Well, our favorite priest that doesn't indulge in minors. thank you so much in blessing our podcast. And you know, I know this is a minor thing to do for us, but we really appreciate it. And yeah, looking forward to do a part 3 in the foreseeable
near
future.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So stay holy,
Will do.
okay? And
We'll see. Hopefully, we can catch up with
yeah,
me.
but before we go,
Yeah.
is there any social media you'd like to plug?
Well, if you haven't heard it already, my new track Defiance is out now on Masters of Hardcore. Stream it on Spotify. Watch the crazy video clip on YouTube or buy it on Apple, iTunes, or whatever you want.
Hardstyle.com,
Consume that thing. It's also on Hardstyle.com, Hardtunes, all that sort of stuff. Wherever you get your music, chances are it will be there. Defiance with my bros David Levy, Jeffrey Day, the monster that is Sovereign King.
Shout out to
the
those
boys.
guys. Yeah, fuck.
Incredible
Big fan of
guys. Yeah. So that's what I want to plug, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Yeah,
Okay.
and just before we go, please leave us a like, share, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, 5 stars on Spotify, and check out our socials at TOZA DJ,
And Budget Phil.
which we still need to know why it's called
We'll
Budget Figure
figure it
another
out one
time.
day. One
We'll
day,
keep
but-
it a mystery for now.
Oh, I thought I could have put my name in the confessions. My name is Budget Phil because I sold myself for $20.
There you have it.
Yeah, there you go.
And there
That's
you
why
go.
my name is Budget
Laters.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Phil. Yeah, yeah.
I've got $20 in my wallet. Yeah,
Check out our sponsors, our outputstrengthsystems.com. Honestly, like I believe they're training Sam. I heard you're in contact with these guys because you're looking buff as Toza. Take some notes. But he's looking massive. I'm king. I love you. Check them out, guys. Like we always say, good friends. They're going to help you lift and look good at the same time with your rave bay. You don't have to go to the porta potty. You won't even fit inside the porta potty if you go train with these guys.
That massive.
So yeah, check them out, guys. Links in the description down below. Thank you so much for joining us. Audiofreq again. Thank you, you legend.
Thank you guys.
And we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Peace out. Best 2 hours of my life.
Oh my god. So sorry for keeping you on for that long, guys. And Sam, thank you so much.